Okay, hopefully everybody can hear this. I call to order the regular scheduled meeting of the 34th City Council for July 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. Just a reminder, everyone in attendance, can you please make sure you silence any cell phone or communication devices as to not disturb the meeting. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Enos?
Here.
Councilmember Hammoud?
Here.
Councilmember Abraham?
Here.
Councilmember Paris?
Here.
Councilmember El Sawafi?
Here.
Councilmember Herrick?
Here.
Council President Sereni?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Councilman Kamal El Sawafi.
Thank you, Council President. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Father Jeremy Schubach of the Church of the Divine Child, who will give the invocation at tonight's meeting. Everyone who is able, please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Loving God, as we begin this meeting, we take this time to pause and to thank you for your goodness towards us. Thank you for all the ways that you've blessed our community. Thank you for all the ways that you've blessed us. We praise you for the ways that your blessings and your kindness reveal your goodness and your nature, who you are, your loving heart. God, we also ask that as we meet tonight, you would bless the proceedings, let the discussions be fruitful, let the resolutions be wise and prudent, and let the decisions that are made be successful and lead to greater prospering for our people and our community. Thank you so much for all that you do. Please continue to bless us in all these ways. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father. Okay, Mr. Clerk, can we have next item of business?
Item 4, resolution by Council President Pro Tem Herrick, supported by Councilmember Enos, proclaiming July 27, 2024 as National Arts and Health Day and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. Council President Pro Tem Herrick brought this resolution forward. Would you like to say some words regarding it?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I would like to share the resolution because it is very meaningful to many people in our community, but in particular, I wanted to acknowledge the teachers at the Dearborn Public Schools who teach our many art-related classes, as well as the artists who reside in Dearborn, and those who run our numerous galleries in Dearborn at the schools and at the college, Henry Ford College, Henry Ford Centennial Library, and the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center. Dearborn joins the National League of Cities in recognizing the arts and culture have a tremendous impact on cities, spanning from community and individual health, education, activism, and social cohesion to economic development, workforce development, and housing and the built environment. Participation in the arts experiences has been shown to reduce depression and anxiety, improve physical health outcomes, reduce social isolation, and build strong community networks. Whereas Dearborn has made it a long priority through its Department of Parks and Recreation Cultural Arts Division to provide opportunities for resident participation and enjoyment of the arts through arts, music, cultural programs such as the children and youth theater programs, visual arts classes, 2 art galleries, multiple choral groups, and art experiences for seniors and special needs groups. And whereas Dearborn is a proud member of the National League of Cities, which through its Arts for Everybody initiative champions the work of cities to increase community well-being through partnerships with the arts and artist employment. And to further increase community well-being and artist employment, Dearborn has supported artistic opportunities through partnerships, championing organizations including the Dearborn Community Fund, Dearborn Symphony Orchestra, Dearborn Community Concert Band, Arab American National Museum, and the Motor City Brass Band. Whereas Dearborn values the contributions of the arts and culture sector and how the arts make our community unique, engaging, and robust, Resolved, the City of Dearborn hereby proclaims July 27th, 2024 as Arts and Health Day in celebration of all that the arts and culture contribute to the social cohesion and well-being of our city. The city 34th Dearborn City Council recognizes July 27th as National Arts and Health Day, and we ask that this resolution be given immediate effect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Herrick. Any other questions or comments on this item? Okay, hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 5, resolution by Council President Sereni, supported unanimously, acknowledging the life-saving actions of Dr. Mohammed Saab and Baha Salah and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Unfortunately, both Dr. Mohammed Sobah and the young man Bahat Salah, which is a recent graduate from Dearborn High School, are unable to attend today, and the council wanted to recognize them and send them a citation of gratification. To give some people some context on it, there was a regular Friday prayer at Ford Road, the mosque, the Islamic Center of America on Ford Road, in which a gentleman in the middle of prayer collapsed of a cardiac arrest, and immediately the high school graduate, Mr. Salah, jumped over to turn him over, and thankfully, Dr. Mohammed Sobah, who is a board member and actually cardiologist, sprung into action, was able to stabilize him and get him to the hospital where he was able to save his life. So we wanted to recognize these two fine Dearborn people for going above and beyond what's really necessary and to make sure that someone is safe. So we wanted to recognize them. Unfortunately, one of them is out of the country. The other one, Dr. Sobah, is on call at work and was not unable to be here. So I just wanted to recognize that from the council, and we will be sending those tributes out to both of them. All right, any questions or comments on this item? Okay, hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 6 is public comment, which will start at 7:10.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. The council rules that were enacted under the 34th council term now allows for public comment 30 minutes prior to the meeting so that the residents and people here do not have to wait to the end of the meeting. There is a 3-minute time limit. It will also, you'll have a 30-second warning that will be given by the clerk. And just keep in mind, if there's an item that you want to speak of that's on the agenda, we recommend that you wait until that item. And then at the end of the council meeting, you have a full unlimited time frame for public comment. So I'm going to begin, and we do have comment cards. They indicate all the rules on them, and they're on both sides, okay? So we're going to start, we had several regarding Camp Dearborn, so we're going to call them in the order in which they received for camp. And just keep in mind to please try to keep your comments concise if you can so that the council can weigh on what's going on. So the first is Ms. Teresa Parks. And just a kind reminder, when you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record.
Teresa Parks, and I won't state my address, okay?
Okay.
I spoke with you last week about some items that I had happened with State Farm by removing my trailer. I do have a letter here from State Farm stating that they finally can remove it. But I went out there this weekend with the Independent to take pictures of my contents that were able to be taken pictures of. I had a deck. This is the deck before the fire. This is the deck that is no longer there. The frame has been stolen. And State Farm has said they have not taken nothing off my lot. So a front end loader was seen taking it. The person does not want to step up and say who it is because they don't want repercussions, because a lot of people are still being repercussions on. And somebody needs to explain to me how I lost a $5,000 content.
Okay, well, Ms. Parks, if that letter, when we spoke, you had said you hadn't received it yet because I asked you to email it to me.
I got it today.
Okay, so I will have our executive assistant make a copy. And that, from my understanding, is to allow your insurance company to remove the trailer to a different location so that you could take your personal contacts because it's up on a hill. Is that correct?
No, it's for them to remove, my trailer's gone. There's nothing there.
Right, I
It
understand.
was totally destroyed.
Right, it was in a fire.
Yes.
Okay.
So
you
State
made an
Farm had a
insurance claim.
difficult time getting, because Camp wanted information from them. Okay, and they did not provide that information, but then now they have an exclusive to where they're reaching out to Camp Dearborn again and telling them, we are coming to get it. It's our trailer, State Farm's trailer.
Right. You've already settled your claim.
Correct.
Okay, so, Director, we need the director, and I don't know if you want to come up as well.
But somebody needs to explain the deck.
Well, I know, we had some questions on that, and it seems to be that there's been some vandalism, but they're trying to get a hold of it, but I'm not speaking on yours, there's others, so if you could just state your name, Director, for the.
Yep, Sean Fletcher, Parks and Recreation Director.
Right, Mr. Fletcher, and then
Steve Keyboard, Facility Coordinator.
Facility Coordinator. So, as we had talked earlier, I know we had mentioned, I know I spoke with the mayor regarding some of the trailers that were forfeited under the abandonment, which the legal department is notifying them, and the council has authorized such, and the mayor's working on that. There was some concern of vandalism of these trailers. So, and Mayor, I don't know how, what you think, but for us, the standard aspect in DPW, I'm sure we'll share the thing, the cost, I know there's some costs involved, but when a trailer is seized, usually what we should do is board it up immediately. What we're finding is holes, busted out glasses. This is becoming like a hotel for varmints and very unsafe until the trailers are removed, because there might be some time before we remove them, right, for that aspect.
Correct, probably in the fall.
Probably in the fall. So I guess, Mayor, that would be an administration decision on how you would like to best secure these, because if they become harboring varmints, it's going to be a health and safety issue. So I'm going to leave that to you guys, but I can say on the record, I mean, definitely we need to do something to secure them, especially because they're going to stay for a few months as far as that. Now, I shared some pictures with you. You're going to look into that. But as far as for their aspect, the trailer that she has, were we trying to move it, or what was the reason that the boards?
We didn't move it,
We
Right,
didn't
no,
go
I know you didn't
anywhere
move the trailer, but
and nor would we have prevented State Farm from accessing the site. We wanted the site cleaned up as fast as anybody else wanted the site cleaned up.
okay,
State Farm cleaned up the site across from there in a timely manner, and the gentleman that came out said that he was going to be doing that site as well, but it was not settled yet. And I met
Okay.
with them, and we would not hold them back from coming in.
no, I understand about that. I guess I'm just, what she's showing is the deck boards were removed. I don't know if that was in preparation for removal, or.
It was a trailer. It was a trailer frame that
Okay.
was totally stolen.
I don't know, I thought the picture showed a deck.
Let me show you my deck. It was a trailer.
Okay,
Because nothing could be permanent at Camp Dearborn. So we took an old camper, a Shasta, which I still have the title,
right. No, I know.
and built a deck out of it.
Mhm.
Steve was with us Saturday, and the deck is now gone.
Okay, so the
State
deck is
Farm
gone.
did not take it.
Okay. Yeah, please.
So somebody at Camp Dearborn.
All right, we're gonna have Jackie get some, all right, I understand, but I guess the biggest concern is, we wanna get your issue resolved with your insurance company, and Jackie, if you can make the pictures of it, and that letter what I asked you for, and, I don't see any reason why the owner of the trailer, I mean, I'm sure you've spoken to legal, once her insurance company has paid you, you gave over the title to the insurance company.
Months ago.
Okay, so they have the right to that, I'm sure you understand that. So if there's any issues, you could just have them contact that aspect as far as to get rid of it. As far as what happened, there's been vandalism there, we have seen it, I've seen it, so I don't know what.
Nobody's gonna move a 35-foot deck
Right,
without a front end loader. We clearly seen it, they had to flip the board off, the deck porch was moved, and a loader had to be, forklift had to be taken out. Person was seen doing it, but they're afraid to step up.
Okay.
Because there's so many repercussions still going out there at Camp Dearborn. And it's
Okay.
not right. Because I would have loved to continue raising my 2-year-old out at Camp Dearborn. But I don't feel comfortable there no more.
right.
That was my place for 13 years.
No, I understand, Ms. Parks, we've talked several times regarding this, and I know there's been a lot of issues with people making claims that I've tried to see how we can resolve them, but I can't go based on he said, she said, right? I
course.
haven't, I know, but there was a lot of claims that.
There is no he
I know,
says,
but-
she said here.
I know,
There's
hang on.
pictures to prove it.
I understand that, but it's not your property at this point. I don't know what to do with this
Oh, the
one.
deck is still my property.
No.
It's my contents.
Okay.
I still have not settled on the contents.
Okay, well, that's fair, but there was also claims about, that I had the legal department look into HR that weren't, not from you, that were found to be invalid. We're trying our best to get Camp Dearborn up to where it needs to be and to be fair to everyone. So when you sent the email in, I called you and we talked.
Yeah.
And I asked you to send me the letter. I'm glad that you have it now, so we can get it resolved. So, I mean, at this point, I mean, I don't know if, Mayor, if you have anything you want to add to
The
this?
only thing I would add is MSP is obviously at Camp Dearborn, so if you think somebody stole your content, I would approach the officers on Camp Dearborn. I mean, that's what they're there for. We have no use, and I contacted the team once Mike reached out to me and asked and inquired about it as well. And
Right, well, it wasn't hers, it was other things, we were just vandalism.
Correct.
And the mayor's looking into it, and so they are, but, and Mayor, I don't, again, it's up to the administration how they feel. My personal opinion is that these trailers need to be boarded up and secured as any property does, so that it does not become harboring of.
And I'll have that conversation with staff. Obviously, this is a unique one, given the insurance.
Yeah,
is
that
involved.
particular
Correct.
one,
Yep, but
exactly.
the others, yep,
But there's many others, so.
yeah.
I think there's, is there 24, 25 of them that are, I don't know, but there's a substantial
There's
number.
a, yeah, there's,
Right, and we understand that it's gonna take time, and we understand because we delayed the funding on it. So I just think it's prudent that we board them up and that no other damage has been done to them.
They've already went in and took what they wanted to take out because they knew they were empty, just like they've done in the past.
I don't, ma'am, again,
Okay, of course, nothing's gonna be done.
Ma'am, I
appreciate
can't-
the deaf ears.
thank you. Councilman Paris?
Yeah, if I could, thank you, Council President. Just a question, because I don't know all the particulars here, and I know it's been shared with the administration and, you know, maybe the council president, but is there a release then for any investigative hold by the Oakland County Sheriff for investigation on the fire?
I haven't received that report yet. I'll
No,
inquire
not the
again.
report. I'm just wondering, since there was been a release from the insurance company, is it still approved by Oakland County Sheriff? Is there still an active investigation for anybody removing anything from that site?
I would have to ask.
We have not
I
been
would
told.
think that
Yeah, we haven't
somebody
been
would
told
know that.
anything by Oakland County.
Well, I can tell you, legal, if you like, if Mr. Romer liked to, unfortunately, I mean, my opinion is that if there was an investigation, the investigating party would have to contact the owner of the, which is, and I'm sorry, the owner of the trailer, but more importantly, the facility where it's at, to indicate to them, and you know as a law officer, that you would have to indicate them that this trailer has to be secured and so on and so forth, and that's not happened.
We
Correct?
haven't received that.
Okay, you haven't been contacted by
No.
any other law enforcement, because I know before we said there was and there wasn't, we clarified that. So, there's nothing been, if there's nothing been communicated, then there's nothing we can do about it at that point, unfortunately. And it's their obligation, is that, Mr. Romer, is that how you understand it?
Yes.
Okay, so if you guys just want to hang up here, because there's several. All right, we had, next we have Todd Schiffner?
Shire.
Shire? Shire, I apologize.
Shear.
Shear? Todd Shear? Did I pronounce right?
Good evening, council members.
Just your name again and address.
Todd
for the
Shear,
record. Yep.
22432 David Street, Taylor, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
I'm here to talk about Camp Dearborn. I got something I want to read. I'm hoping I don't get interrupted. The last time my 3 minutes got ate up by a lot of side talk. This is concerning the May 7th meeting when I presented you with documents where dates and amounts had been changed by an office staff member, okay, on a legally signed document, our lease. Okay, it's against law, it's fraud. The name of the person who admitted it to us, my wife and I, was Sierra Stone, the office manager. She said she did that because she wanted everybody in there by February 15th to pay for the next season, when technically we were paid through May 24th. I have the documents. You asked me that night for the documents to make copies. I provided copies to your executive assistant over there. You told me at that meeting I would be contacted the next day. You and Mr. Golich told me I would be contacted the next day by your legal department. They had to look at it. I waited 10 days, never heard anything. I called up, spoke with the lady and said, What's going on? Oh, they're investigating it, but they'll, they're gonna look into it. Well, so I don't want it swept under the rug. Oh, no, they would never do that. At your June 7th or June 12th study session, I knew we could not talk, but I did catch you, Mr. Serini, at the end of the meeting, and I asked you about those documents.
Right. And what did I say to you?
You didn't really know anything about them.
That's right. What did, exactly. And what did I, hold on.
You-
What
let
did
me-
I
let me
ask you?
finish.
I know, but you asked me a question. And I asked you to email them to me. And I gave you
I'm
my
not gonna
card.
keep playing the email game, and when I've already turned over the documents.
Okay, no problem.
You asked the young lady to come over, and you asked her, where are those documents? And I quote, they're in a folder. Really? Can you produce those documents now? I mean, because I don't think they're anywhere. I think it's getting swept under the rug. It's a criminal act. If we go by what she changed on that lease, then you owe me 98 days that I overpaid Camp Dearborn. If you want to go by our new lease with the dates, you owe me 9 days because they changed those dates and I overpaid by 9 days. You know what's really got me irritated is I heard nothing. Nobody contacted me. Nobody reached out to me when you told me they would. You said, I will hear, and it's a matter of video record from that meeting where you told me they will contact you tomorrow. Mr. Gold stood over here and said, I'll look into it tomorrow morning, we'll contact you. Never heard a word. It's a criminal act. I don't care how you slice it, dice it, whatever you want to do with it. It's a criminal act. And I have the proof of what was done. So whether Sierra Stone took it upon herself to do it or her boss told her to do it, somebody. But she admitted to doing it. It was done. I've got the copies.
You have 30 seconds.
What are we going to do about it?
Okay, so,
And I'm sorry if I seem a little heated
no,
right
that's
now.
okay. But my recollection is a little different because I didn't see it and I asked you to email it to me and I never received it. So just before the other lady came up, I had said that there's been things that I've asked for that I haven't received. So I know, and I think the city has clearly agreed. That's why the mayor authorized me to sit with the legal department and go over the lease completely to have it rewritten, which they are working on. That there was issues with the dates as far as the new lease overlap with the old lease. There's no question there was an error there.
Yes, there
But
was.
you said there was changing and stuff.
Changing it,
right?
and
I
I've got the
understand.
documents right over there again.
Okay, I understand, but I can tell you, and I know that, I don't know if Jackie, if you have them separate.
I probably do.
Yeah,
Without the-
but I asked when, I know it might be funny, but it's not funny.
No, it's aggravating.
I understand it's.
I feel like you guys danced all around me. I really do, sir.
I asked you to email, sir.
Why do I have to keep
Sir, let me
emailing
tell you something, You don't have to do anything, okay? Okay, we are legislators, I have a full-time job, I have 5 children, and I asked you, and I gave you my card to send it to me. If you don't have the time to do it, and I can't get the right stuff, I can't help you. The lady called me, I called her from out of state, on my vacation with my children, and told her, send me the letter. The letter came today. I'm doing everything I can. Nobody's hiding nothing, okay?
Then where's-
Nobody's hiding nothing.
Then
I'm
why
just
would-
telling you.
Okay, I understand,
If
sir.
somebody, I have a law license, sir. I'm a licensed attorney. If somebody changed something, I will pursue it with the HR and I will go through the process. I don't care if it's my family member. You can ask anybody.
Why wasn't
my
that
record
done?
is clear. Okay, because you never sent it to me.
I gave it her. You had the copies.
When-
The administration had the copies, sir.
Sir, when you met with me, you said the 12th. You said you provided them on the 7th. And I asked you, could you email them to me? Because stuff we sent up.
Yep. I'm
So I
not real,
asked
I'm
you
not
to-
real computer savvy about attaching this
Okay,
and attaching
well,
that.
that's fine.
And that's my fault.
It's
But-
not your fault. But that day on the 12th, you asked me, and I said, I didn't have them. We sent everything up to the administration to look into
She
it.
could have brought the folder out to you.
Sir, a
Somebody
lot of
sent
things
them
could have
to you.
happened. You could have emailed them to me, we wouldn't have this conversation.
Or
But
you could have
didn't.
done something after the 7th and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Sir, you brought it to my attention on the 12th. You said
I
that.
brought it to the council's attention on the 7th. It's on the video. I was the first person to speak.
Sir, we acknowledge there was an issue with the dates. There was an issue with
It's
the
not
lease.
the overlap dates that bother
overlap
me.
dates.
It's the fact that somebody took
I
it upon
understand.
themselves and thought it was okay to commit a criminal act. That's the part that's really got me
Nobody-
so juiced up about this, is that they feel they can do whatever they want to do.
Okay.
I no longer trust the office staff out there. I'm sorry, I'm sorry to say that, but I can't. When
No,
they
I-
openly admit to me that they did something like that.
I understand.
Sorry, your time has
It-
expired.
Okay, I know that. At this point, I think, unless the mayor or the administration or the legal has anything to say, we need to find out if things were changed because they're all digital. I don't see what's going on. But the bottom line is, the city has acknowledged. That's why the council put a 30-day stay. We put a 30-day stay. You remember that, or no?
Yeah, but
Right.
yes, I
That's so
did.
that we could clear up this issue with overlapping lease contracts. And we did. So, I mean, we did with that as far as overlapping. As far as somebody purposely changing it, I don't know until I can see what happened, but I don't know if anything has.
Which was why I gave them the copies.
Right.
I'm happy to connect with Jackie, get the documents, work with legal to see if
Okay.
anything needs to be done.
All right.
I know they're making a lot of effort and a lot of strides out there at camp right now. They're really trying, and it shows. But right now, I'm like a dog with a bone on this because it was wrong, and I'm not gonna let it go.
Sir, I would've let it go either. The things that are wrong is wrong. When something is wrong, we stand up and we fix it. Nobody hides from anything. I've never hid from anything in my life, and I'm not gonna do it
Well,
over
I mean,
here.
I gotta say, Steve and Sean have both been an open ear to me.
Excellent.
I mean, I have cell phone numbers. These guys have been really good about letting me talk to them about things. My biggest thing is, I'm so aggravated that it's the end of July, and I turned this in May. And maybe I wouldn't feel so bad if I hadn't have been told, we will contact you. To me, that's like the old saying, the check's in the mail. Nobody ever contacted me.
Okay, I understand. Councilman Al-Sawafi?
Thank you,
Stay right
Council
here.
President. Director, I don't know if you can speak to this and not to put you on the spot, but as far as the changing of the dates, how that impacts the campers and how we can address it, is that something you look into?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
you can speak to right now?
And
Do you have that information?
no, I need
Do you
to
know
see
what's
it.
going on, what he's referring to as far as the dates? Changes and
So-
how it impacts him within 90 or 9 days?
It would be this is gonna be a 1-year issue because the previous lease did go through, I think it was May 24th. The new lease, we won't have this issue in the future.
I think this largely had to do with the payment plan option that we
Right.
provided. And then we got feedback from campers saying we are starting the first payment around the same time you have to pay your taxes. And so there's a request to push it out, which we then did, that the first payment is due later on. And then what happened was we understood that there was a difference between when the start of the new lease began and when the expiration of the previous lease began.
Right. And
Then
we
the
corrected
council
it.
put a moratorium.
Right.
Technically, the moratorium is
Far
not due until
surpassed,
end. I think
far
it's
surpassed the 9 days.
yeah, it's but then after the moratorium expired, we then sent out a letter saying you now have 30 days from that point to even pay. I think payments are not due until
24th.
the 24th of July. So technically, folks can have been camping all season without paying anything up until this point.
Ours are paid.
Until 24th of July. If you paid early, I understand that,
Yeah,
obviously.
we're fully paid.
Yeah.
We pulled that copy offline. It was online.
Yeah.
The one with the February 15th. When we
Yeah.
went in the office, they opened up the folder and I went, well, there's my copy of my lease.
Yeah.
Saying lease sign, title and everything.
Yeah.
And it was May 24th.
Yeah.
And we asked about it. And
Yeah.
Sierra looked us dead in the face and said, I went in and I changed those dates because I wanted people to be here by February 15th to pay. That's where the problem is.
Yeah.
That's where she admitted it to me, and that's wrong.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation with staff. I think the mix-up is when the payment plan begins versus when the lease expiration
This was
commences.
before you guys gave us that new payment plan.
The payment plan was brought forward with the lease for this camp cycle.
Yeah, we were told February, we could pay it and it would be $2,400 instead of $2,500 because we're not.
That was a part, correct, that was a
Dearborn
part of the new
residents.
plan, correct.
And they said it had to be paid by February 15th.
Correct.
Then they said, oh, we're gonna extend it and give you guys a payment plan.
Yeah.
Well, we'd already paid ours.
Yeah.
And that's neither here nor there. We paid it.
Yeah.
It kind of threw us into a little bit of a financial thing because we didn't think we had to pay until May.
Of course.
But when somebody's manipulating stuff in the computer and in the
Yeah.
documents and stuff, then I've got a problem with it.
What
And when
I
you
would-
sit there smugly and tell me that you did it,
Yeah.
I got a real problem.
What I would suggest, given that council doesn't have authority over personnel, you obviously said that you have Steve and Sean's direct contact. Sean is the oversight, and so if there's a appropriate HR action that should be taken, they'll be obliged to take it going through the right process. I think it's, so directly communicate with Sean on this particular issue. And that's your best, it's not, council has no oversight on HR. Technically, neither do I. It's a
Right.
separate
I mean, you know,
branch, of course.
I'll be honest with you, I thought about blasting it all out on social media, but where's it gonna get me? It's just gonna rile up a whole bunch of other folks
Yeah.
that are gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
I just want somebody, if you tell me you're gonna call me back, I expect you're gonna call me back,
I 100% respect that.
okay? And nobody did.
I respect that.
Okay?
I can give these guys a copy, if they wanna take the paper now and make copies of it, they're more than welcome
There
to.
you go.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, next, we have Gary Morgan.
Good evening, Gary Morgan, 1661 Drexel, Dearborn. Instead of a presentation, I have several questions. I know it's been several weeks since you folks have met. And a lot of concern has been addressed in the area about what happened in the city on July 4th. Specifically, the level of noise, the level of celebration. There's some question about whether it's 3 days before the event and the holiday or 5 days. But when I had people calling me on the 5th wondering what's going on at Dearborn, and I said, what? And then they're referring to the incident that happened around Fordson High School with the police officers. I thought that was rather disturbing, to say the least. I mean, we're hearing words like insurrection, January 6th, and I'm thinking, this is happening in our own town? That was pretty disturbing. Again, this is not going to be a 3-minute dissertation. I'd just like to hear your comments on it. There was a little incident that happened on July 19th, last Friday, at Michigan Avenue in Nowlin. And a lady, as I understand, 33-year-old doctor, was T-boned by somebody coming down the street at 100 miles an hour at 8 o'clock in the morning. And this is happening all around town consistently. I've called the police in the past, and I get an attitude from dispatch like it's a condescending, patronizing attitude, like, where are you calling? I've lived here almost 50 years. I know where I'm calling. And it's not only Ford Road, Telegraph, Michigan Avenue. We live on the corner of Drexel and Lawrence. It's Wilson, it's Silvery Lane, it's Gully. And I don't understand what is happening. There was supposed to be some wolf trap or wolf patrol going on Telegraph Road. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Another thing, have you folks or the mayor received anything from Orkin on the contract that was given out last November 14th on rodent control for $186,420? We still have a rat problem in the West End, and that's nothing new in this city. We've had it for years. But we were cited. We were asked to take all our bird feeders down, which we did, except the couple in the front. And we still have rats in the area. I've decided to start putting out rat traps, which I was advised against by Mr. Brooks. Very good guy, by the way. This is back in December. Another question I have as far as how many dogs are allowed on residential properties in Dearborn? Was it 3 or 5?
Okay, we're,
3. So
Yeah,
if you
let-
have
let
5 or 6, you're operating a kennel, maybe?
yes, we changed
In
that. We'll let you
spring-
finish.
in
and
spring
then we'll
wells?
address it.
You have 30 seconds.
I understand.
It's like,
And then as far as vector control, a resident knew I was coming tonight. Does the city's vector control office still pick up possums and raccoons with traps and reset them and set them back out in the forest at U of M Dearborn or wherever? And those are the only questions I had. So any response from you folks would be more than appreciated.
okay, so, sir.
Thank you.
So first, the July 4th situation, it wasn't an insurrection. What you have is, this, we derive our power through the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan some years ago, changed the laws regarding fireworks. And now they can shoot the fireworks the day before, the day of, and the day after. And what you had happen.
3 days before, 3 days after,
No.
5 days before, and day after.
That's correct. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, that's the law. What you seen, or what I think you seen, because I saw, was there was some kids that threw some fireworks towards a police officer, and they were arrested, I mean, and I appreciate you coming here, I understand, but it's getting really taxing. We can't raise the people. I mean, I want to make that clear.
I understand that.
I have 5 children.
I understand.
I'm getting to the point where I don't know where the government is supposed to teach somebody not to throw fireworks at the police officer. Because I wouldn't do it. I wasn't raised to do that.
Exactly right.
Okay, so, I know, but I'm just letting you know, it's not something that the government or the city of Dearborn supports. They were prosecuted, and they got in trouble, and they're not getting away with it. Just to let you know that way.
Great. So,
Okay.
again, to make that clear, for a holiday, they're allowed 1 day before and 1 day after, not 3 days before or 3 days after.
That is correct.
And homecoming will be the same thing, or what?
No, homecoming is a special event, sir. We were talking, you asked about 4th of July.
Understood, but we have several holidays that fall throughout the entire year.
Sir, I didn't say the holiday. You wrote 4th of July. I'm trying to address your issues.
But the state addresses it as holidays.
No, the state address it as the 4th of July. The 4th of July, they allowed fireworks.
All right.
We don't know.
Okay, so you could look it up online.
That's right.
As far as what happened with the accident, it was a very unfortunate event that I'm gonna speak on later in the evening. And you're correct. Okay, there is a person that we have our commander that's going to speak at the end of the night regarding it, that was exceeding 100 miles an hour. Okay, again, there was a person lost their life. It's a very, very somber situation, okay? And there's not much we could have done. I don't think anybody had a chance in that scenario. When you're driving over 100 miles an hour.
In rush hour traffic.
Bad things happen.
Before the road is back.
So as far as that, as far as the fork and erector control, this council has supported the funding, and the mayor has been very active regarding, as you mentioned, Mr. Brooks, we have 3 full-time vector control issues. And again, I don't want to get into the reports, but I'm not trying to blame anybody. We have to fix it. We've been working on it. But just so you know, when they go out, a lot of times these happen because of self-induced situations. People leaving garbage cans with holes in them, people throwing ground feeding on the ground. So we find out what's happening, and we do our best to fix it. We pre-treat in the fall. We're doing everything we can to keep it down. It's top of mind.
Did you ever receive a report back from Orkin?
Yeah, can I speak to this?
Yes, Mayor?
Yeah, so on the vector control, so Orkin contract, as you mentioned, was signed early winter last year. And so they went out and placed the rodenticide in the manholes across the city. We got our first heat map in March, and so that's the first map that we got. That's basically our control map. What it shows for you is basically where are the rats eating inside of the sewers during the winter. So we identified all of that. Then what we also did was we measured how many calls came in the spring this year relative to how many calls came into the spring in the year 2023. We actually saw a 30% decrease in the number of calls that came in on vector.
Was anything on the website about that, Mayor? Because I looked, I did not see anything.
We haven't put it on the website yet. The reason is I'm waiting for the second round of data, which is due for us end of July, because I wanted to have 2 quarters worth of data to demonstrate the heat map. On the heat map, what we're looking for is dark shades of red that show where rats are eating should decrease. And so we're getting the second heat map, and what we informed council that following the retrieval of the second heat map, we would call for a community conversation, town hall fashion, to talk about vector control and other issues, and to bring those maps forward, then also compare what is the second quarter number of calls that came in on rats relative to the second quarter of last year. Because for me, one data point is not strong enough to say it's been a successful pilot or not a successful pilot. And so that data, you're a few weeks shy, hopefully, of us having I just requested this data a few weeks ago myself, so it's coming. But what I can say also with Orkin is they've given us an expanded free service as well. They've been going through some of our larger parks, and what we found is that our larger parks, which typically have garbage bins and such, have also been the grounds for some large colonies. For example, Fort Woods had one, and they eliminated the entirety of one at Fort Woods. We also found, for example, along our easements in the downtown district, they planted bushes which actually attract rats. And so we're actually going to go through as a DDA and rip out a lot of this landscaping that was put in there years ago, knowing that it also welcomes some of this harborage. And so we're really cracking down on this issue, and hopefully after we have the second report, we'll make that data public.
Yeah, and then again, sir.
As far as the dog issue then?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I got it. Also on the parks aspect, we did also fund trash cans that they were over, what, 30, 35 years old, the ones that were in there?
Yeah, they're beginning to roll out.
Right, so they're beginning to roll out, substantially larger than 30-year-old trash cans that have lids. So I live right by Cherry Hill, and I see the stuff there, and I see people
We're
throwing
right by
stuff.
Levitt Park, same thing.
So you understand?
I understand.
Yeah. In
Regarding
addition
the
to that,
dogs-
we also now have a park manager at every large park across the whole city who goes through and picks up garbage after folk. It's actually so demeaning that we have to do this because people can't throw away after themselves.
Understood.
But Lapeer Park, Ford Woods, Hemlock, Ford Field, all have, and Crowley Park, all have a park manager who will go through and pick up a lot of this garbage as well.
Right, and then just to complete your aspect as well, this council funded the Clean Streets crew, which is there 4 or 6 now, Mayor?
It's 4 and it's expanding. And so what the Clean Streets crew, credit to council president brought forward the suggestion, we actually go through and pick up garbage on major thoroughfares, even if it's not a city road. We're expanding the team. We're actually going to we have a team that picks up garbage at all the parks. And so we're actually going to migrate that over to the Clean Streets crew. And we also added an extra shift. And so we pick up the garbage at parks not only in the morning, but also in the evenings at the heavily utilized parks. That way garbage doesn't stay there overnight and welcome any garbage.
Good.
Right, so that crew that was established under my suggestion with the full support of the council and funding, and then the mayor, of course, did that, was because in the past, we would say, well, we were told, that's the county road, that's the state road. And I said, I don't care what road it is. If it's in the jurisdiction of the city of Dearborn.
Absolutely.
We need to get it cleaned up. So we are addressing it very actively. Tires, washing machines left out on porches, not on for pickup, because we do pick up that stuff. We have been very aggressive on that. Regarding the dogs, it was under this council in which we, myself and I think Councilman Hamud funded, I'm sorry, actually, yes, sponsored the resolution that we were shocked to find out that we had no limitations on dogs. We had none. It was never brought forward, right? And that what's happening is once they reached the 5 or 6, they morphed it into, hey, that's a kennel. So we did reduce that, and we did place that, and we also had support from from our Dearborn Animal Shelter, which turned around and also we gave 6 months' time so they could get out information, let people know that you cannot have, more than, was it 3?
3?
3 dogs.
There's 3 now, okay.
Yeah, so, yes, because before there was no rule on it. So I appreciate, all your concerns, and I hope we're addressing them, but,
And the last one, as far as vector control, do they send out anybody to live trap possums and raccoons anymore?
well, the mayor can speak to it, but I can tell you, I had a possum picked up at my son's house, and they let it go right there. Because right, because
dead possum,
the truth that, no, dead is different. You talking about dead? Because the
Dead or alive?
possums actually help
Correct.
clear out the
Clear out
issue.
the rats and the rodents and everything.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's what happened for my sons. They caught it and he went nuts because they let it go. You can't I know, sir, I'm almost I don't want to say an expert, but we've had the DNR in here a few times. Yeah, the deer issue with
The
the Henry
deer issue
Ford,
with
with the
U
U
of
of
M,
M,
yeah.
with the coyotes. So I can tell you, you would assume you could take them somewhere else. You can't do that, they die. They have to stay in their environment. But yes, dead rodents, we do have animal control, which again, this council funded a full-time animal control person, which we did not have.
Correct.
Full-time, this was just past
July 1, correct.
July 1st. So I want you to understand, I was born and raised here.
Same here.
Everything that you say, I agree with 100%. We're working on it. All I can tell you is we're doing our best we can, and it's not something that's being swept under the rug.
All I need to hear.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add one final point.
Yes, Mayor.
And to the point that Council President brought up, there's only so much government can do.
Understood.
I'm not in the business of raising people's children, but unfortunately, I'm beginning to enter this space.
It starts with the residents at the home. first
Yeah,
of all.
every time I talk to a parent and I see a Maserati or a Challenger or a Charger in the driveway, and I say, "Is that your son's?" He says, "Yes," but he doesn't speed. And I say, If he's between 17 to 22, I'd bet you $1 million that he's probably somebody that we've ticketed before.
Oh, yeah, let's hope
And
so.
so I just need the community to recognize Challengers and Chargers weren't here when I was growing up.
Nope.
It's a new phenomenon. Unfortunately, people give out leases at great deals. Don't go to Mike Serini for a Mustang, I guess, or something.
We had hand-me-down 65 Chevys.
That's what we're
Wish
praying
you still
for.
had
We
that
really
car.
need.
Wish I did too.
Yeah.
We need the community support. I can tell you today, I walked the Springwells neighborhood with 15 of my staff members. We picked up litter, we talked to neighbors, we addressed violations. Last week I did 3 neighborhoods. And so we're doing neighborhoods every single week as a walk, 2 hours for a walk. We notify the neighborhood before we go out, the neighborhood association, and we walk through, we identify stumps, dead trees, stop signs that need to be replaced, any potholes. We look for any harborage at homes, we address with a notice of violation right then and there. We did 40 NOVs in one neighborhood walk. And so we are really trying to be on top of it in the most proactive fashion. And I'm not trying to hide in my office, I'm trying to be out as much as possible.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for your comments. All right, this time, since we are at the limit, I'd like my colleagues I'm sorry, Councilman Paris?
Okay.
Okay, I need an offer to extend the public comment, because I'd like to finish these. Offered by Councilwoman Herrick, supported by Councilman El Sawafi. You got that, George?
Yes.
All set, okay. So next we have, and again, I apologize, I was trying to keep all the Camp Dearborn in order. There's just 2 more for our director. We have Elena Swade? Ilana, I'm sorry. Is that pronounced?
Ilan Suud.
Suud?
Suud. It's white in Arabic, but.
Swade, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
2247 Hall Lane in Wixom. That's where I live. I told you, I've been going to Camp Dearborn for 63 years and bought and sold trailers about 5 times. I was told I got to remove my metal awning on this last trailer I just bought. I bought it because it had a big, beautiful porch and a big awning, and now I'm being told I have to move my metal awning and my porch. That's not happening. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. I just paid $10,000 for that trailer, and I'm not gonna ruin it by removing the metal awning and my porch.
Is that,
Can I sell it?
I mean, it's your property. Here's the issue. So I did meet with the mayor and the legal, Mr. Romer regarding this. I have also reviewed the Camp Dearborn violation reports from the state of Michigan, because there's been many questions regarding this. And the way I understood it, according to the legal department, is not correct. The way I understood it is they were grandfathered in because they asked for the camp, the number so they could list them. Because some of these were, before 2009, were actually permitted by the city of Dearborn. The situation is that in reading of the letter that I requested, which also went to the legal department as well as the city administration, and Mr. Romer, if you could chime in for me, the state of Michigan has indicated that none of those none of the awning or decks that are within 4 feet are allowed. They were never allowed, even, I don't want to say since 2009, but Mr. Romer, do you want to speak to that aspect? That's the issue that we've been having, because I have told people that if it was certain time frame, they were supposed to be allowed. Now, after reading the state's ruling on it, the state is indicating that it's not. So, Mr. Romer?
I believe you said it correctly. It was never, anything within that 4-foot unobstructed path has never been grandfathered in, according to the state. There's no grandfathering letter related to that obstruction.
Because I specifically asked for that. I asked, well, what if they were before 2009? Okay, because you got to understand too, as I indicated many times in the past, the Camp Dearborn, as we're trying to reinvest, as we had received grant funding, we need to get it back to where it was. Okay, and we put $2 million, $2 million this year into it. So which hasn't been put in many, many years, as long as I've been here. So what I can tell you is that the situation, what's happened is if a trailer's there, right, and then 4 or 5 years later, they're supposed to be removable. That's the first point. And a lot of people have removed their tires and stuff, and we haven't said anything, right? So it's not like we were innocent by not pursuing and saying, hey, you need to make sure it's removable. Personally, I think we should have, been more aggressive on that, making Thursday removing. We upgraded the electricity tremendously over there, but the problem is, if you want to put a deck or an awning, it has to be 4 feet away unobstructed. That's from the state, and I have the letter.
How are you gonna get in? You gonna jump?
No, you can put temporary stairs. You can put stairs. You can't what they call in the building code have a structure. So you can't have footings and put together a deck, and that's the issue.
You're telling me I have to remove my deck and my awning, and what are you telling me right now?
I'm telling you that it's not grandfathered in, and I checked with the mayor as well as the legal department, and I contacted the state myself, and they're saying there's no, you cannot have anything obstructing that campground in that area on those trailers within 4 feet of them. That's the understanding that we have. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. Romer, Mayor?
Correct, yeah.
So that's
I
the
don't
issue.
understand. I bought it like that, so why are you gonna make me destroy it? I paid a lot of money for this. Am I allowed to sell it?
Well, that's another issue that
They didn't tell me I couldn't.
You
Why
can
would they
sell-
not
it's
give me a
your
heads
property.
up?
It's your property, you could sell it at any time, it's not this, you only rent the land. That's the biggest confusion that people have had, and not just you, that I wanted to clean up in the lease. Okay, because I never understood why we're inspecting the trailer when it's leaving. Doesn't make any sense. It's not our trailer, right? So that's why we rewrote the lease. We only own the land. The taxpayers of Dearborn paid for that property, they own the land. You're renting the land. The trailer is removable, you could take it, sell it, whatever you like to do, it's yours. It's not ours.
It's not removable. It's big and it's old. It's not removable.
That's the problem that a lot of people are facing, ma'am. They're 50, 60 years old and they're not movable. Some of them, when you move them, they collapse. So we are well aware that.
So why you want me to play with it? I want to leave it as it is. I bought it like that.
Just to provide
I
background.
paid a lot of money for it.
It's not
You're
the
gonna
city-
give me some money for it?
It's not the city council, the administration. The state sent us a ruling on this. Following the study session, we doubled down, we reached out back to the state and said, we really need to have a conversation about this. We're drafting a new.
The metal awning is connected to the trailer. Why, if I take it off, it's gonna leak and it, no,
the state
I'm
has
not
it-
gonna do that.
The state has advised us that we're not allowed to have that at Camp Dearborn.
It's been there forever. How
I
all of a
understand.
sudden you have to take it down?
The state
And
has
that's
provided-
crazy.
Yeah.
Making people take down metal awnings that's connected to your trailer and the porch. There's no room to move it 4 feet. I don't have room. The trailer is right up to the porch. I have no 4
Ma'am?
feet. Now what?
No, ma'am, the lot should have, you should have 4 feet around.
I
the area.
don't.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to do?
Ma'am, at this point.
I have 30 seconds?
Ma'am,
You
at
have
this-
10,000 for me?
Ma'am. Ma'am,
That's
please-
not
ma'am,
fair.
Please be respectful.
I'm trying,
Okay.
but you're not helping me by.
Ma'am, you're
It's
not-
been there, I bought it like that, and I want to keep it like that.
I understand, ma'am. Unfortunately, we have to enforce the rules that the state has. Believe me, I went through this with a comb, and I called the state myself. I can't overrule the state. The state, we grant our authority through the state, and they have violated us and put it on our reports, and they indicated that nothing within 4 feet can be a permanent structure or bolted to the ground or bolted to anything. That's where we're at today. So I'm sorry regarding that. Councilman Parrish, you had something to add?
You're sorry?
Yes, if I could. Ma'am, with due respect to you here coming forward and bringing this information,
It's not
when did you
fair.
buy that trailer with that
When
item?
COVID hit,
Okay, so it was after 2010.
it was when COVID hit,
Okay.
and I put a
The
new
only
rubber
thing that I'm
roof on
bringing-
top,
The only thing that I'm
top of
bringing
the 10
up
grand.
to you is, I've looked into this a little bit more too, because I've had people approach me on this. There is a letter from the, prior to Eagle, the Department of Environment, back from 2010, that said, if the city or if entity owning the campground were to go ahead and identify people that had non-conforming issues, that they would have to then contact the state and identify those people, and that it could be grandfathered then. But it's my understanding, I don't know that the city of Dearborn ever did that they ever identified the people out of Camp Dearborn to go and be identified by the Camp Dearborn, us as an owner, and send it to the state that they could be grandfathered. So what I'm getting confused, and I did send in a request just within the last couple of days because of this issue, and I didn't know that you were coming tonight, or we've never even met before. But this issue needs to be clarified, and I really do appreciate that the council president says that he looked into it with a fine-tooth comb and so on.
So-
But there are some things that need to be brought up. Just even recently at the mayor's briefing, it was brought up that.
Well, yeah, let me,
I just
About
want,
the
I'm
grant-
gonna step in if I may.
Yes.
if you, I just want to confirm what we had already indicated.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't speak to what happened 2010, prior to 2010, I wasn't here. What I can tell you is we emailed the state, and the state distinctly said in the letter, which we're putting out and we're provided to all the TV2 folk, it said they have never grandfathered in anything within 4 feet of a trailer, pre-2010
Okay.
or after 2010.
Yeah, Mayor, and that's the issue. So
Yes.
because I did have a disagreement with the legal department on the wording, which I think we ended up agreeing that it was worded very poorly. Because it goes on to say that you could be grandfathered in, right, for this time frame, except or unless, and if you read it carefully.
Right.
It goes all the way through and includes the 4-foot perimeter. It says if it's within 4 feet, nothing can be within it.
Right.
And because we've had 2 or 3 fires just in the last couple of years.
Right.
So that's the concern for them. And again, we're trying to get the park up to, like we said, we put, on the last council, we put over $1 million in electricity in there, right, which is a tremendous upgrade. And we're trying to get it to where it needs to be. So
And I see.
So
that
that's the
if
issue.
you-
If you read it.
Well, if people are coming
I
forward,
don't disagree.
about issues,
Yeah.
happening out at camp, and like I said, I did just recently make another request, because it was said that we had a surprise inspection out at camp because of people not believing us that there is this 4-foot rule, and we've been told. So therefore also, I also requested, and you said it might be going out to the campers, that I, as a council member too, I want to know when this inspection was, who was the name of the person who said no grandfathering, and where is this document written down just recently that we had a surprise inspection? Where is that inspection? I want that inspection.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure that you put that through the channels. I know that in our packet, we had I went by the last 2 inspections, which both indicated that there was that they were violations.
Yeah, that was May 29th, and there was an Oakland County Health Department that made the
No.
inspection on
Not the ones that I have.
on the Eagle.
Yeah, the ones that I had was in our packet. The health department has nothing to do with that. The ones that I had was from the Camp Dearborn.
Kathy Frazier is a member of the Oakland County Health Department. She's
Yeah,
not Eagle that signed that form.
Yeah, I don't care who signed the form. The Eagle came from the state of Michigan, and I contacted the state rep, and they put me in contact with the DNR. So whoever signed it, if they have another job, that's immaterial to me. That's what we had. But if you're asking for a new report, I don't know about the new report. You know how to go through the channels, we'll get through that. But unfortunately, that's where we're at now. So ma'am, that's where we're at. The property is yours. You can do what you like to with it, okay?
I can sell it,
Yeah, it's your property,
because I'm not
absolutely.
moving nothing.
Okay, because that's the other issue we had. So we have one more for Camp Dearborn, because I'd like to get through the rest of these real quickly. For Stacy Denoy, Doy? I'm sorry? This is on the agenda? Camp Dearborn is not on the agenda, ma'am. No, so if you'd like to come forward, I'd rather you, yeah, because I have the director and what's the exact title now?
Facility coordinator.
Facility coordinator here. So I'd like to get this resolved so we can get to our council business.
Update on Camp Dearborn today, so.
Okay, just your name and address for the record?
Stacy Denoyer, 2903 Cornell, Dearborn. Well, you
Okay.
just talked a lot about the cabana issues.
Yes.
Again, I agree. I had a letter from the state in 2010 saying my cabana would be allowed. I've owned the trailer since then. I got a letter from Camp Dearborn this year with my inspection saying I have a cabana. If I sell the trailer, it has to be removed.
If you, well, again-
That was
again,
from Camp Dearborn itself at the beginning of the year.
Right, I understand. I
And their
think
own
that's the
inspection
confusion.
report.
Again, and Mayor, this is where the confusion has been about selling. It's your property. I think what they're talking about, if you're trying to sell it to someone to maintain.
No, I
the
wasn't
property.
selling. It was saying I'm allowed to keep my cabana until I sell my trailer.
Yeah,
And that was
I don't know how
straight
that
from
could be
Camp
when
Dearborn.
we're telling everybody they can't, so.
From Camp Dearborn on the inspection report.
Do you have
March,
a,
April? Yes. All your inspection reports at the bottom says cabana allowed until trailer is sold.
yeah,
So if that
What-
unit is going to be sold, the new owner would assume the responsibility for.
Well, the trailer, it's not being sold.
I know, but
You-
that's where we got into, Mr. Fletcher, and Mayor, this is where we got into the sold, which I got this is the problem I have with the way it was written, but we corrected it, okay? This is the problem. We do not own the trailer. That's why I didn't understand why we're inspecting it when they're selling it. It has nothing to do with us, unless they want to stay there, then the new person. So my point is, what number is your unit?
B6.
B6, okay.
So
Do you
I
have a
don't
copy
plan
of the
on
report?
selling it.
I understand. Do you have a copy of the report?
I don't have it with me now, but
Okay.
I have
When was the
turned it in.
report sent?
Huh?
When did you have that report? Was this year, 24?
Yeah, when I signed the lease for this year.
Okay. So Mayor.
And that's on every lease.
All right, Jackie, just make this as a referral that we will ask Sean and the administration to look at B6 as this year's inspection report indicating that it's allowed to be there. I think that's the confusion which I've been trying to clear up with,
We'll take a look
I'm
at
sorry,
it.
the administration is, and more importantly, not only legal, but we own the land. We do not own the trailer. So I don't.
And I
that's the issue.
understand if that's the new rules, you guys
It's
are
not a new
making this
rule. We
rule.
never owned your trailer. It's your trailer. The
But
problem is it's
you had
been
me pay
communicated.
for a lease through May 14th.
Right.
You're telling me as of December 14th, I'm no longer allowed to use my trailer. So worst case scenario, I would expect a refund from those days, my deposit refunded, and a pick of a new lot.
Okay,
for a new
I'm not understanding that your leases, you paid your lease, you have a lease through, and you're saying you're not allowed in December?
Well, my cabana has to be removed, and I'm not allowed in Camp Dearborn after December 14th.
Okay,
But my cabana has to be removed by March. So you're pretty much saying after December 14th, I'm not allowed to use my trailer, but you charged me through May 14th.
no, that,
So why wouldn't I get a refund for those days?
You can use the trailer next spring up until
No.
14, or you can.
You're telling me it has to be removed by March. So do I get to keep my cabana till May? Or no? So I can't use it.
2025 is the deadline.
So can I use my cabana till May or can I not?
I don't know why you're using May as the date, ma'am. Everything was.
Well,
set to
because
you
I'm
right.
paid through May.
Because you're paid through May doesn't mean that it's allowed, right? They're indicating, because there's.
I'm just
discrepancy.
asking for a refund for at least those days.
Yeah, ma'am, that's not how it works. They gave you, first of all, we got conflicting reports. You're saying that it says that it can stay on,
Yes.
all right? Then you're saying, since you're paid through May, that you want to keep it through May, even though the deadline is May of 25. I'm sorry, March of 25. So we're going to have to
No.
find. Yes, is that correct?
No, we paid May through May, right?
He's talking
Ma'am.
about the removal of the cabana by March
May and,
25.
yes, the payment in the lease contract is different than the state requirements to remove and how long we have to remove them. They're
My
two separate
point
issues.
is, you signed a lease with me saying I can keep my trailer
Yep.
through May. By now, you're changing the date saying I can't use it after December 14th.
Okay. No, the dates have not been changed.
So
and
you're
you can use it
changing
in
my
December.
lease on me.
The lease
And-
has not been changed, ma'am, so I think you're misunderstanding it.
And are you refunding all campers the 9 days from last year that you overcharged us?
Ma'am, I think the mayor made it abundantly clear, the council extended the period for 30 days and then gave
No, I'm not
another
talking
30, so
about
it's 60
penalty
days.
days. I'm not talking about
No,
that.
I'm not
I
talking about
paid
penalty either.
for 9
Was there
days
any fees
twice.
assessed for those 60 days, Mayor?
No,
you
I'm
say it
not
for the
talking
record?
about that at all, sir.
There were no fees assessed.
Okay, so the,
I was charged for the same 9 days twice.
okay.
I'm not talking about any change of dates or anything.
Okay,
That
hold
was just
on,
in
hold
there.
on, hold on. If you want to be recognized, let me know and you can ask the question, but I thought we went over this abundantly clear about the lease being inaccurate, about the 9 days. That's why we did a 30-day stay, and then the mayor sent a 30-day, and that's 60 days. So the time that you say you lost, you gained substantially more to make it, that's what we did.
Oh.
But again, did you have, who wants to ask a question? Do you have a question, Councilwoman Herrick?
What are the 9 days, the specific?
Yes, the same 9 days I paid for in last year's lease and this year's lease.
What are the dates?
Well, it's like 10 times.
I think it was
Yeah, if you don't have it,
May
ma'am, it's-
14th through the 24th. Or the 15th through the 24th.
It's
I
the-
paid
yeah, it's
2
the
years
same
in a
that
row
we-
for the same days. So it's only 9 days. And I understand there could have just been a mistake in the lease, but I shouldn't pay for the same 9 days twice.
You're not paying for the same
You're
9
not
days
paying,
twice.
I don't know where
paying
you're
for an
getting that. You
annual
got
season
60
pass.
days for free.
Sir, I did not get 60 days for
We gave
free.
you additional, the council put a stay on it for 30
Well-
days, and then the mayor sent the letter. So
I paid
think-
in February, so I wasn't worried about that part. I'm just, and I'll send you an email tomorrow showing you the same 9 days I paid for
Ma'am,
twice.
I'm fully aware of the 9 days. I know all about the 9 days. That's why I took time and met with the city attorney at 8 AM and spent 2 hours rewriting the lease because of the error of the 9 days.
Okay.
But if you
So what
feel
was
that you're
resolved
entitled
by
for a
that?
refund for 9 days, you can request it through the camp, I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher. My opinion is that the council put a stay that cured all that 9 days, but I guess you don't feel that way.
No, I was never refunded for them, so I didn't.
You paid the same seasonal fee that would have been established
How are you gonna be
regardless of whether the lease expires May 24th or May 14th. And so there's no 9 days that you overpaid for.
I know, that's.
And as it pertains to being able to be allowed at March or May, the way the lease is written is you're allowed to stay in a compliant trailer through May. If your trailer is not compliant, that is not our responsibility. That is a responsibility decision that you are making. So if you get thrown out of camp for having a non-compliant trailer, that is not the city's fault. That is your fault, because this is what the state has provided us. That we cannot have any trailers that have 4-foot clearance, that do not have a 4-foot clearance. So
And
if
you will
decide-
provide that letter, right?
We're literally drafting it as
No, I meant from the state.
we'll give you copy paste.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Anything else you have?
So you're saying I wasn't compliant, but at the time I signed my lease, I was compliant.
The lease, in the lease, it says you are required to be compliant with all state, local, and federal law. That is in the lease. So if the state comes in and says that is not allowed, that our lease says they're permitted to tell you that's not allowed and you have to remove it within their time frame. That's not a violation of the lease. The lease covers that issue in that provision.
Okay. I'm being told there's private meetings held by Steve out at camp. There was one on the 17th for communication with the campers.
Private meetings.
How do we get informed by these meetings?
That was a Camp Dearborn Advisory Committee meeting. Those meetings will now be posted as other city meetings are posted.
Because they're having meetings at Camp Dearborn
It was
during the
informational
week
in nature only.
when there's very few campers out
This
there.
is just the Camp TV, people who are in TV2 who just talk about things we can do to improve TV2.
But it would be nice if all campers were involved in that. I mean, we've been in TV2 for many years.
We've announced it at every meeting thus far about the establishment of this committee, and we've invited everybody to participate and to reach out to Steve directly about if you'd like to engage, and how to get involved.
I know several campers that are out there all the time, they weren't even aware of the meetings, so. that is a
We'll
big
also
concern.
put that in the campfire chatter the next date and time that we meet. So we met at the
Well, I
chalet.
would appreciate that, thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
All right. All right, thank you very much. All
Well,
right,
I'm not done, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So if I do
Hold
have
on a
to give up
second.
my cabana,
Your time has expired, ma'am. We have a 3-minute limitation.
Okay.
I've already asked the council to extend it. If you'd like to revisit your issue, you could do so at the end of the meeting because we have to go through
Okay.
our. Thank you. All right, Director, and we are all set with the rest are not regarding Camp Dearborn. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you for being up here. All right, we have a few more I'd like to get through for the residents that have patiently been waiting. So again, we have Kay Kwanzaa? Kosan. Okay, and just kindly, again, as I indicated, name and address for the record, and then reminder, you have a 3-minute limitation.
Oh, yes. So we're all from the same
Okay,
neighborhood.
hold on. Okay, who, that's fine. Kay, who's?
Joe,
Joe and.
Melanie.
Joseph,
Yeah, right here.
and then,
Melanie. Melanie Doucet.
I can't hear you, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Melanie, sorry, Melanie.
Okay, I
We're
got
all
it now.
from West Village.
Thank you. Okay, you
So
can
the same
take the turns.
concern.
Okay, go ahead. We'll start.
Kay Kosan, 22174 West Village Drive.
Yes.
Our concern today, obviously, we're all have the same concerns. 2 years ago, all of this basically started in our neighborhood. The trash, the noise, the traffic, the cussing, crowds in and out. It's come to a point where we can't live there as residents anymore. It's all hours of the night. It's all hours of the day. I've reached out to the police department numerous times. I've reached out to the city. I've had someone by the name of Miss Berry come out and meet with me a couple times in the neighborhood. I get promised that we're on a pilot program for speed bumps. Nothing has happened yet. We just need the city to get more involved, to maintain this area and to keep it what it used to be. The businesses in our area, Jebel Coffee Shop and Galata, they are creating a lot of what's happening in the neighborhood. Something's got to give with the way the traffic flows in our area, whether you guys have to turn a couple streets into one-way streets. Also, these businesses, I think they need to be more involved in the trash pickup of our streets, that we're constantly having to pick some up ourselves. I know the city, they designate someone every morning that's constantly picking things up in the neighborhood, but that's just the morning, and then it goes on all day long. So really, we are all here very concerned about how the situation is going to be handled by you guys. I mean, if this continues, it's only going to deprive us of living there. We're all thinking now, like, if this is how it's going to be, we really cannot live there any longer.
Just to add some more context.
Yes, okay. And then, Jen, again, your name just for the record.
Joseph Intravaya,
Yes.
and I live at West Village Drive.
Yes.
The noise level is just out of control with the cars going by, and I'm on our board of directors for our condo association, the condos behind Starbucks.
Yes.
And it frequently comes up in our board meetings. And the noise level that we hear, it's beyond any stock exhaust system. And it just all night long. And a few observations. Many times I see the same vehicles just going up and down West Village Drive, and then 2 minutes later, same car comes by. And another observation is I've seen cops in the area, and they don't seem to go pull the guy over. I don't see that happening. And I don't see this in other cities, the noise level of the vehicles. I don't see it in other cities. It's beyond, you hear it all night long, and it's out of control. And I think the cops know how to fix it, start giving tickets, impounding vehicles.
Yeah, tickets are, I'll have the mayor speak. We have a transparent, our tickets are up 100%. So,
On
and
noise
hold on,
level, those
Mayor, I
different.
just want to make sure we're talking contents, if you don't mind. Correct. So you're talking about the downtown area?
Yeah, the downtown
You live in the
area.
downtown area?
Yeah. Kate
Where the
brought up
park-
the- Kate
I
brought
know,
up
I
the
just want to make
trash
sure
first.
I know, I'm not great with the West Village and the
Yeah, yeah.
Village. We have a lot of names and stuff. I want to make sure I got this right.
Yeah.
So you're talking about where we put a couple $1 million in the park, in the downtown area?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying there's too many people walking down there? Or
Well,
making noise?
It's the car noises.
The
is
car
my
noise,
concern,
okay.
yeah.
Mayor, can you
Yeah.
address the,
Yeah,
because there
so
has
as
been
a
some
pres-
questions about the ticketing, which I know that, we know how much that has increased, and the
Yeah,
ports here.
so I'll say this,
too.
speeding and reckless driving tickets are up substantially. Tickets overall are up by about 100%. As it pertains to noise tickets, those are very difficult to issue according to state law.
Yep.
We've requested our state legislative partners. When I was in Lansing, I tried changing that state law. The way it works is a cop has to be standing still with a decibel reader and have a car drive by. And then only then you can pursue if it cracks a certain decibel threshold. And so it's very difficult to actually enforce and prove. And so what we're actually advocating for is for a rule that non-stock exhaust systems would be illegal. That's the law that we're advocating for at the state, so I'd contact your state legislator and advocate for that as well, because that would provide us a stronger basis of enforcement. Speed humps have been laid down across the entirety of the Wagner Deck parking lot, that's new, and plus council just this agenda
Yes.
is actually approving us to shut down West Village Drive Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where Wagner
Correct.
is. So we're gonna shut that down Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We would like to permanently move to shut that street down in total, because we don't think cars need to drive there at all. And then Gina Berry is the business liaison, that's who you've been in contact with.
Excellent.
The other suggestion the DDA team has brought forward is to explore actually shutting down Mason, where Jebel is, and so shut down that street as well, and not allow any car traffic on there. So I think we'll bring that pilot at a later time to council, because we think no car traffic needs to happen there or on West Village. To get into the parking lot, you can, parking structure, you can drive around as you need and leave when you want. I have a meeting July 30th with my public health team, as well as my DPW and engineering team. We're walking on West Village Drive, in particular where you have the stop signs where Starbucks is. We're exploring to put a high-raised crosswalk right there, which will be the form of a speed hump, but rather than the traditional rubber, it'll be the concrete-based, and so you can actually still shovel snow, as well as one later down near where Black Box is as well. As well as two further down on Tenney Street where the parking decks are. And so we're actually doing that walk July 30th. We just got some grant dollars that'll permit us to do about 30 of these across the city, but your street is prime for it. I can't promise you that we'll have the concrete laid down this year, but you're the first street that we're going to walk on July 30th to talk about exactly how we want to put these down. And so we are doing a lot. We paid $25,000 in overtime enforcement on the parking deck alone just a few months ago. We've issued a number of citations for loitering, people drag racing and things like that. We've done that, and we tow cars on a daily basis. We towed a car the other day and gave a ticket to the parents on top of that. You know, like we're literally going above and beyond, but it goes back to the earlier comments that I can't raise the community's children. You know, we need help and assistance with that. I think unfortunately we're in a booming phase of our downtown. And so Jebel brought a lot of action. The park will bring a lot more action, hopefully divert some of the traffic away from Mason Street. But our downtown is blossoming in that way. So we're looking at what measures we can put in to divert some of this car traffic and noises. I can't account for people swearing outside. Unfortunately, I
Yeah, but
can't.
not at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, no, I
I have a couple
understand
of
that.
questions too. When you're talking about no traffic on West Village Drive.
West Village, where
potentially-
Wagner is.
Which one?
Specifically, we're
That's where Modern Greek is.
correct. Where Modern Greek
Oh,
is.
that area.
Specifically that street.
Yeah, but we're talking specifically
I know in
on-
front.
yeah.
I can't shut down all of West Village.
Right.
You need to get cars in and out of your lots.
Right.
And so we're piloting at least to begin with that one block, because there's no access point to any parking lot from that one block. The way I see it is that street should never have been built to begin with.
So that street, I mean, okay, there's street parking, which would be something of a concern. Otherwise, our parking for the condos, we have Howard's directly into the parking lot?
Correct, in the back.
And then, so we could totally I mean, I know it's going to be problematic if you shut that down, but boy, will
But
that solve
I need
it.
people to get, I mean, most of them might support that. But,
Just
I
a
think for
thought,
us,
yeah.
what we
very
want to
big on
do is
shutting down the
pilot this
street.
first road. We got the businesses to agree to pilot Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That
Right.
actually commences end of this month.
Yeah, okay.
And so once we begin that, then we can see how that works to move forward to a permanent
Yeah.
ending of utilizing that road for cars, and then we can explore expanding from there. Like I told you,
Sure, sure.
Mason is the next road that we're probably looking at,
Yeah.
because there's so much dense traffic there, and we think ending traffic there could help alleviate a lot of your concerns on that Jebel corner.
Yeah. One more question, please, and this is for the parking.
And garbage
structures.
pickups, last thing, sorry, we power wash the dumpsters twice a month. We have garbage pickup 6 days a week. And our Clean Streets crew goes through, like you said, every single day.
I see.
We even pick up Ford's garbage when Ford doesn't pick it up to make sure that it's picked up.
I
on
do
top of
think
that.
you need to hold the businesses there accountable.
We ticket so severely that I have business owners calling me every day. One business got 18 tickets for garbage
Yeah.
in 1 month.
I don't think they're doing their job.
And trust me, it's substantially improved from where it was a year and a half ago. And we're very heavy-handed. There's no excuse. We prosecute every ticket. Business owners are paying thousands of dollars by the month on garbage and littering. Our team does a phenomenal job. They will go through, if there's a bag of garbage on the floor, they will open it up to see whose garbage it is, take pictures and issue the ticket, take it to court.
All right.
So one more
Any-
question, please.
Yes, please.
On the parking structure, there's a light. There's a big, tall light. However, it doesn't have the blinders, which typically parking structures, when they have a huge light on top, they'll shield it, yeah. So, oh, I'm so sorry. That light comes into my bedroom at night. If I go on my deck at night, it's straight in my face. Would really appreciate it if we could get those, I call them blinders, but the shields or whatever. It won't dim the light on the third floor deck, but it'll really help the residents. So that's just something.
Absolutely, so I mean,
Yeah.
Mayor, I don't know if that's DPW.
I'll flag for DPW and ED, they're both there.
Just
Thank
make that as a
you.
referral, so we'll find out. I
Thank
mean,
you.
the light, when it was installed, I don't know how long ago, I'm sure it wasn't compliant, maybe the
19.
change. I'm sorry, Mayor?
19 is when it constructed.
Yeah, so maybe the change, because we have updated the wattage of bulbs for energy efficient, so maybe that's changing the glare, so we need to look at it. So we'll put a referral through to DPW and the mayor will.
The other two things I'll say, we went out for a bid to put a gate for the top of the floor, so you can't exit the top floor unless you're a Ford employee. Nobody bid, we're going back out for bid, try to solicit some local vendors to construct the gates. Plus, we're exploring a fence to wrap around every top floor of the parking deck, so no
Yes.
kids can sit on the edge.
Yep.
It's a fairly expensive project, but unfortunately, we have to move forward in that direction. It's about $250,000 FYI for the 3 parking decks. So we're exploring that as well and trying to get pricing. So all 3 parking decks, nobody will be able to sit on the edges and look over.
They stand on the edge, don't they?
Okay.
I know, trust me, yeah.
No, again, I appreciate you coming forward, and I want you to
Thank you.
understand that I don't think anybody, I speak for my
We're on top of
colleagues,
it more than you know.
that we don't agree, and we're trying to make those aspects, and I'm glad the mayor had the feedback to get you. I know, Councilman Hamud, did you have anything to add?
I mean, the mayor actually covered the trash. We've been very, very hard on him on the trash issues because it was quite bad a year ago. And actually, I'm very pleased to hear, because I haven't heard firsthand, that they're out every morning.
Yes,
So
I get
good
up
job.
quite early.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's very good because we've been fighting a lot for that. And then
And
even
they do their
the,
sweepers,
Yeah.
At least once a week they've been doing
Well,
ours.
Yeah,
they
we
should be
power
doing
wash the
more than
dumpster
that.
areas twice a month. We're actually gonna change the dumpster enclosures to be better, get rid of the oil thing, container, I forget what the formal name.
Grease traps, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
the
more
grease
to
trap.
come, there's more to come.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I-
Thank you very much.
I just want to say, this is my first time here, and I'm completely impressed with all of you and how you're handling everything, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope I don't have to go back. Okay,
Well, I
thank you.
appreciate
Great
that.
night.
All right, we have 2 left, and I think.
Communications, cut and clip that,
Thank you. We have 2 remaining cards. I'd like to finish these so we can get to the agenda. Again, we have Jennifer and Jennifer Lee. Yes. And is that Isaiah?
Isaiah.
Okay, Isaiah Lee, okay. And again, just your name and address for the record, and a kind
Yes.
reminder, you have a 3-minute limitation.
Yes, Jennifer Lee, 2001 Cornell.
Thank you.
So a few of our neighbors are here from this Civic Park Association, or Grinley Civic Park Association.
Yes.
We were here last month at the Planning Commission meeting regarding LaFontaine requesting to rezone 4 residential lots to VPDs, and the Planning Commission turned it down. So we were told to come this month, because you guys would vote on it today, but we're not on the agenda.
Okay, so can we have Kaylee here?
I believe LaFontaine withdrew.
Oh.
Let's get it on the record, I appreciate it.
Hi, good evening. Hi, good to see you guys again. Kaylee Bianchini, Planning and Zoning Manager. So essentially, there was a rezoning request with LaFontaine. They, after the public meeting, are not interested in moving forward in the rezoning request at this time. So they withdrew their item, so essentially it won't be moving forward. And I'll note that if it were to move forward, we would contact you guys.
Yeah, more importantly too, I appreciate that. Guys, please, 1 second. I appreciate that, and then Ms. Bianchini, we did change, because this has happened before, where people were unaware that once it's turned down or not turned down, that it comes, because the planning commission is a subsidiary of the council. So, once it comes, even if it was turned down there were some people didn't know that we still get to make that decision. So, if it comes, that's why it's not in front of us today, because it never came in front of us, they withdrew it. But have we changed the notification that if it does come through, that those people are notified that they still are, it still comes in front of the council?
So that's why at the Planning Commission meeting, we always go over what the next, anticipated council meeting it's going to be at, right? So every time we recommend, come to the next meeting to see if it's on the agenda, or see online, see if it's on the agenda. And then if it's not, then it won't be spoken about. So after the Planning Commission meeting, they decided not to move forward.
Right, I understand, but I think what I was asking for was that the communication, because we made that abundantly clear, and I hope that you took that, I mean, unless, Mike, I know, I don't want it to be we said. When we notify them, because there was residents that thought that was the final stage, has that changed?
That has changed at yes, and we go over that in detail at the Planning Commission meeting. Yes.
So,
that's why
again,
you're here today.
The planning commission is where it starts, so I'm glad that you came here, but it never made it to here yet.
Okay.
So, yes, so you could stay involved, and we will make sure that they're a good community partner. We've had conversations with them and on issues that we had that to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. It's a balance between the residents and the businesses, right? We want to make sure that our residents are happy, and they got to follow the rules. So we'll make sure, okay?
On this particular issue, just so you're aware, LaFontaine came to my office prior to, and we indicated that they had told the community they weren't going to do this, and so as an administration, we wouldn't be supportive when they go forward with it. So at the Planning Commission, we obviously were not supportive, and I think they ultimately realized that they did not have the support.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you.
Of course.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you waiting for your time. Thank you, Ms. Bianca. All right, next we have, this is the last one we have, is it Allen? Yes.
Hi, my name is Alita Allen. I stay at 5500 Calhoun Street.
Yes.
I stay in Dearborn Hubbard Manor Apartments, and we were told that the name would be changed, and as of today, it still is Hubbard, because of what he stood for. There's the Hubbard West and the Hubbard East, and there still has, we understand City Council is the only one could change that name. And we're ready to do a petition in both buildings to get the name changed.
Okay, Ms. Allen, I appreciate that. That is true. We have a naming policy, which the council is aware of, that we actually created on the last council. And there has been discussions regarding name changes that we've had with the mayor as well, and it is a council decision. So we are not opposed to that. As you're fully aware, in the last term, we changed the ballroom to Lincoln Ballroom. You're aware of that in Dearborn?
Right.
Right. The last conversation we had, there were some other roads that we were looking at to do a combo of changes. So we're not opposed to any petitions, but we do feel that there is necessary to change, and we're in the works of doing it.
The apartment buildings, both apartment buildings?
Yes, ma'am.
Hubbard East, okay. And our next thing is, our leases have not been renewed yet. And we know that they're up for renewal, the leases.
Yes.
But we have a problem with people smoking in the building, and we want to know why they have to take them to court, why they can't just not renew their leases. It's a lot of people on oxygen in those buildings because of senior citizens. And when they did the last bug inspection, when they went through there, they had about 10 people from the city, they caught people smoking in the building. Caught them, and their apartment smoking. You could smell the smoke when people move out. Their apartments is smoke filled. They smoking weed in the building and doing everything, and they catching them. But because they go before Judge Summers, which we finna say, a lot of people are not gonna be voting him back in. They said, because when they go before him, and being in collections for over 45 years, I had to deal with him, and I know how he is. We're not voting for him. And I know when they go before him and try to get him out, to get people evicted, he tells them, oh, no problem. And the tenants who have been passed through with their rent,
Okay.
they brag about it. When they come back into the building, they brag, oh, judge gave me 4 or 5 months to pay my rent. What kind of stuff is that?
I can speak to this if you like.
Okay, yeah, that's good you brought that up because we've been talking about that. I do appreciate that. Let me have the mayor address it for you because my
And
understanding it
he
is.
knows.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Right, but
We've been very aggressive on
Okay,
trying
Mayor.
to evict the tenants, and obviously, as you say, we have to follow the legal process, which means we go before the courts. And obviously, we're basically, whatever the judge renders a decision, that's the decision that we have to follow. I mean, I drafted legislation in Lansing that would ban smoking in every senior building across the whole state of Michigan.
But why do other apartments, when their time for the new leases to be signed by the tenant, they don't sign them if they violated stuff? Why do we have to have them sign? Why do they have to sign them with our new leases if we know that they're actually smoking? Because we have one tenant who's been to court. They gave her and her boyfriend a break and gave them another apartment because they thought it was conflict. And they got caught smoking and they sat downstairs and told us they got caught smoking at the dog inspection for the bugs.
Yeah, we do our best. I know I've worked with Tim, who oversees, obviously, all of public works and housing. Tenants have rights, and I have to follow the legal process that's provided to me. And I promise you, we're being as aggressive as we can. We obviously have now our housing managers in the buildings, and I check in every few months and try to stop by. And so we'll keep at it. I promise you that. And
Has that helped, Mayor, I apologize, has that helped because that was under the mayor's jurisdiction? The council, of course, supported it, where they put the housing people in the buildings.
Oh, we love it. We love Ajama and them guys. And I'm the liaison over at one of the buildings, so they know they got me to come up here and say it, because they know I don't care. I'm going to tell y'all how I feel. So they got
Well,
me.
I
but
appreciate
the
that. I do
name
the same
change-
thing, but some people don't like that.
Is the name change on your thing to look at?
Absolutely, ma'am. I'll be honest with you, I've had several conversations with the mayor, and we were just looking for the timing, as well as there's some other
I
streets.
can tell you there's about
that-
5 different name changes
That are
that have
coming
come
forward.
up from various council members.
Yes. Okay.
So we want to have one session to talk about all the name changes.
And the county was
And the
involved.
county, correct.
And the county was involved on a.
Various
portion of
council
the-
members have reached out. Whether it was you or not, you should know.
Okay, I will let them know, because they waiting on us to get back. Okay, then. So we should be getting our leases pretty soon?
I will defer to Tim and Dustin, obviously, on that one, but Tim's nodding yes.
Oh, he's back there.
Yeah,
I didn't
Yeah, they
see
all
you.
have to come now.
So we should be getting our leases pretty soon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I'll let them know when I go back. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming
Thank you,
forward.
no
Thank you,
problem.
ma'am. Thank you for coming and waiting. Okay. At this time, sir, did you have, okay, come forward. That's okay, that's okay. Come forward, I'll give you this last one, because we have to get to the council agenda. It's 8:30. So go ahead, just your name and address for the record.
My name is Rod Rotz. I have a property at 6340 Coleman.
Yes.
And another one at 6259 Coleman. I had lived in the Fort Woods area for like over 40 years. I'm no longer there, but I still own a couple properties, and I maintain them just like I live there. There are a number of properties there that I called on every year because of violations, you know, the grass, the weeds, stuff like that, taking care of the alleys and so forth. I called the 943-261 number all the time. Up until this year, they were kind of coming out and so forth. This year had the same problems with the same people. I called before Memorial Day on 3 different properties. And I did follow-up calls 3 times, got excuses all the time. We don't have enough people to go out, blah, 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 blah. And so I said to myself, I am coming to the council meeting tonight, and I'm going to express my frustration. One of the people have overgrown front yard, backyard, and everything, about 4 doors away from my house. The one next door to me, there's an open alley for 3 houses. And I take care of mine behind my house. He has not cut the back alley there this year. He's a new owner, okay? It's still like that. He has not taken care of it. The other one, right in back of him, which is 6347 Berry, he uses the alley for a storage. His yard is gorgeous and everything, but all his junk he throws in the alley. His wood, his old bricks. He's got an old basketball hoop that he's had there for 2 years that nobody's ever used. He's an empty nester. So he has no kids around there. I've consistently called on this, and I'm not getting any satisfaction.
Okay. So, Mayor, would you like to?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jordan, can you get the addresses directly from him? And I'll have somebody out there tomorrow. I'll see that somebody will be there tomorrow.
We have our director here.
Okay, now, I did call, you know what I did, when I called today, the guy that took the call, I said, well, you know what, I would like to talk to the inspector. He said, well, you can't do that, and then he did put him on the line. And he was very wishy-washy. Initially, the guy that answered the phone said, oh, well, the inspector was out there a month ago. And I said, well, what was the recommendation? He says, well, I don't know. And I said, well, I want to talk to him. And then he put him on the line, and he was wishy-washy. I think his name is.
What we're gonna do, I understand, but the residents have the people you need to speak to when you call it in, if you don't get the answer, is to alert the council. I don't think the mayor or the administration mayor is the process for the residents to speak to the inspectors on the phones regarding.
You call 2150, give an address. I can
So-
give you neighborhood liaison's phone number as well.
Yeah, we have a process and many people, so what you could do, sir, is we're gonna have our Jordan Torty
Jordan
standing
will
up in
take
the
the
back.
address information
You can
from
give them the addresses,
Okay.
and they will send somebody out right away, especially the harboring outside, you know.
alleyway.
Yeah, the basketball thing, I mean, that's a matter of opinion, but storing.
But wait a
storing-
minute, that's a public thing there, so he doesn't have a right
Sir.
to put out something that's
Sure, I know.
his property on public property.
That's not public property, that's the problem. The alleys have been given over to the residents, because we give them tickets for it.
But it's an open alley.
Even if it's open, they have to maintain it, they can't put stuff blocking it. So when they put wood,
Well,
we're gonna
I
take
was
care of
always
it.
under the consideration that you cannot put your personal property in that alley. That's what I've been told. all
We'll have
along.
this
You
neighborhood
can't
services officer go
obstruct
out.
the alley, you can't obstruct the alley, sir, but we're gonna have him get the information, and we'll get to it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much, you stood up in the back, okay? Thank you, Mr. Torti.
Okay.
All right, so at this time, it's 8:34, we're gonna close the public comment, and before we move to the consent agenda, are there any items that any member of the council wish to remove from the consent agenda and discuss individually? Okay, hearing and seeing none, Mr. Clerk, would you proceed?
Councilmember Enos?
I'm sorry, that's a required roll call vote, yes.
Yes.
What, do you need the offer and support first?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, so let's, that's why I wanted you to proceed, so hang on. So offered by Councilman Paris, supported by Councilman El Sawafi. I just want to make sure if there's any items. Now, Mr. Clerk, you can take the roll.
Councilmember Enos?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamud? Councilmember Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Paris?
Yes.
Councilmember Al Sawafi?
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick?
Yes.
Council President Sereni?
Yes.
6 yeas, the resolution passes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Next item.
We're going to move on to item number 27, resolution by council members Enos and Herrick approving the minutes of the previous special meeting of June 26, 2024.
Okay, is there any deletions, additions, or modification to the minutes? Okay, hearing and seeing none, a unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 28, ordinance number 24-1821, introduced by Councilmember Hamud. Synopsis, an ordinance to amend section 9.02 of ordinance number 06-1111 of the city of Dearborn by rezoning the properties located at 10149 Michigan Avenue from a BB Community Business District to a BC General Business District, 5158 Porth Street from a VP Vehicular Parking District to a BC General Business District, 5145 Eugene Street from a VP Vehicular Parking District to a BC General Business District and VP Vehicular District. Also, the properties located at 5127, 5121, 5115, and 5109 Eugene Street, and 5126 Porth Street from an RB One Family Residential District to a VP Vehicular Parking District zoning classification.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Okay, this item is being brought forward for the third time again. This is due to the failure of the Dearborn Press and Guide to post the ordinance in the paper regarding, as they're required to statutorily. The proposed rezoning is being done in conjunction with a proposed alley vacation to allow the Arab Community Center for Economic and Social Services, better known as Access, to construct a treatment and recovery center within the Eugene Porath neighborhood. This is the first of two readings. Because of the failure of publication, we have to read it again into the record for 2 times. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay, Mr. Clerk, can we have the first reading?
Yes, this is a resolution by council members Paris and Enos to table the ordinance. This is the first reading of ordinance number 24-1821, an ordinance to amend section 9.02 of ordinance number 061111 of the city of Dearborn by rezoning the properties located at 10149 Michigan Avenue from a BB to a BC, 5158 Porath Street from a VP to a BC, 5145 Eugene Street from a VP to a BC and VP. Also, the property is located at 5127, 5121, 5115, and 5109 Eugene Street and 5126 Porath Street from an RB to a VP zoning classification.
All right, any questions or comments? Hearing none, a unanimous roll will be attached unless hearing any objections. Hearing none, so is attached. Next item.
Item 29, ordinance number 24-1822, introduced by Council President Sereni. Synopsis: an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of Dearborn by amending section 29.02 of Article 29.00, section 2.05 of Article 2.00, section 10.03 of Article 10, section 5.03 of Article 5.00, and section 1.03 of Article 1.00, entitled Schedule of Regulation. Resolution by council members El Sawafi and Hamud to table the ordinance.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The city council has requested some updates and modifications to ordinance to offer more options to residents while still balancing the responsibilities and limitations of our stormwater system. The proposed changes will permit residents to do more with their properties while balancing the environmental benefits and that come with having a dedicated permeable green space in residential areas. Some notable changes are to create more flexibility for residents that will allow them to install popular amenities such as pools, gazebos, pavers, etc. by moving to a 35% total structure coverage. We also are permitting a 5% total landscape area to be used for permeable pavers. And we also are allowing driveways to be made out of permeable pavers that support manufacturer specifications, increasing maximum permitted lot coverage for large properties to be consistent with property categories from 40 to 45%, and removing standards that are redundant, confusing, and challenging. This includes removing standards that relegate the size and ratio of a column and the size and shape of a window, which was something that I vigorously opposed in the past, so I really do appreciate that. And removing minimal unusable floor area per unit in the multifamily zoning district, and of course, a removal and a requirement that requires the city to notify private deed restricted communities and prevents permits from being issued by a certain period that has not passed by notification. This ordinance has took a lot of work to go through, and it was through our planning commission. They recommend approval on their July 8th meeting. And this is the first of two readings. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Councilwoman Herrick.
Could I please have clarification? We talked about this at a meeting last week briefly, but regarding the 5% minimum of the total landscaping may be used for permeable pavers, how does the driveway that we allow to be made of pavers play into this 5% of the landscaping area?
Good evening, Council. Planning and Zoning Manager. So those are separate items. So the total landscaping area is essentially a different calculation. All this is doing is that in the ordinance right now, the driveway is explicitly required to be hard surface with concrete or asphalt. All we're now doing is kind of two separate things with permeable pavers. One is to now allow driveways to be constructed out of permeable pavers, since they're more beneficial, right, than concrete or asphalt will allow essentially stormwater to infiltrate into the ground. In addition, we looked at the landscaping section and allowing 5% of the landscaped area. So they are separate. So it doesn't play into that same calculation. We're just allowing that additional benefit because once again, the concrete is more beneficial than the pavers. I'm sorry, the pavers are more beneficial than the concrete. Sorry.
So as far as it goes, though, even if they make the drive, and I'm all for that. I love permeable pavers for driveways and parking lots, but that doesn't let them build more on their property. It doesn't let them build other.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Correct.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilman Hamud.
I think just to kind of touch on this item, because I think this is something we've all been very passionate about, at least some of us have been very passionate about, on changes to the zoning. To clarify to people, we're not actually increasing any of the amount of hardscape that people are allowed to put right now. What we're doing is we're making it a lot more flexible. Before, there were situations where people could essentially pave over their property with cement blocks, but couldn't actually put up, like, let's say a gazebo or other structures on it. So it was ironic because you'd end up in situations where, you know, you're not actually helping any of the runoff, you're just not letting people utilize their property in a way that's actually conducive to living on it or allowing their family to use it however they, you know, decide. So I think this is one of those things where it took us a while, but we got to a very, very reasonable place, and I'm just so happy that we were able to kind of negotiate on all this as a council, and I'm happy that the planning and zoning administrators are able to get to this at this point, and hopefully in time for what's left of the building season. So I just want to thank everybody so much for getting us to this place.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was a long time coming and something that we've been working on for months, but these things do take a lot of time. And again, this is input from our development and planning department. As we all are aware, the publications and requirement to go to planning and zoning puts 2 or 3 months requirement to pass anything. And we basically found out why are they going there. They're getting approved anyways and trying to make it streamlined to make it more efficient. So hopefully this is a good balance. Any other questions or comments?
Just to clarify.
Councilwoman Herrick, you want to clarify?
Yeah, just to clarify. So for people that do pay attention to how much green space we require on private property, that hasn't changed. We still require green space. It's just, again, as my colleague on council just said, it gives you more flexibility of how you put buildings or structures onto your property, but you're still required the same green space as in the past.
That's correct. So we're still regulating the overall amount of green space. And once again, actually kind of shifting the definitions around and how we're regulating it so it's a lot more clear. All we care about really at the end of the day is how much green space somebody is providing on their property, regardless if it's covered with a structure or with pavement.
Right. And in the past, it wasn't like that.
Correct.
We would count the air conditioners towards it. We would say, this is part of it. We would say, that's true.
That's
You know,
true.
that we would say, well, this covered awning counts. So what would happen is that we piecemealed it all together. And this is just, and then the mayor's suggestion is to make it clear for, we don't care what you cover as long as it doesn't cover this much. Makes it more easy to understand. Hopefully it will reduce our planning and zoning.
Reduce the likelihood for somebody to interpret it differently.
Yep, absolutely. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, this is the first reading. Mr. Clerk, can we have the first reading?
This is the first reading of ordinance number 24-1822, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of Dearborn by amending section 29.02 of article 29.00, section 2.05 of article 2.00, section 10.03 of article 10, section 5.03 of article 5.00, and section 1.03 of article 1.00 entitled Schedule of Regulation.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, the unanimous roll shall be cast unless hearing any objections. Hearing none, so is attached. Next item.
Item 30, resolution by Councilmembers Hamud and Paris authorizing the owner of the property located at 720 Town Center Drive to obtain a temporary use of land permit in order to allow 6 food trucks to utilize the property for a duration not to exceed 12 months from August 1st, 2024 to August 1st, 2025, during the hours of Sunday to Thursday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The property owner at 720 Town Center is requesting a temporary use of land to permit 6 food trucks on the property in the duration not to exceed a 12-month period from August 1st of 24 to August 1st of 2025. The property currently has approved permits to utilize the building as a coffee and juice bar with both indoor seating and outdoor patio seating. 720 Town Center Drive is our formal TGI Fridays in the Fairlane Town Center perimeter and has been vacant and closed since 2019. The proposed hours of operation for the food trucks are Sunday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. And I know we have the petitioner as well as the planning. So if we'd like to start with the planning, and then we'll have the petitioner add anything if you like.
Absolutely. Thank you, Council President Kaylee Bianchini, Planning and Zoning Manager. So we went over this a little bit in detail at the COW, but once again, in the zoning ordinance, essentially grant City Council the approval to issue temporary uses based on certain conditions. So one of them is based on adequate off-street parking being provided, that essentially the exact duration of the temporary use be provided, which has been done here. So just to touch a little bit on the site analysis. So the restaurant itself is required to have 121 parking spaces. They are providing 161. No parking is being displaced by the food trucks because they are all being located in the outdoor patio. The food trucks will utilize a grease waste disposal system that is located within the building. And food trucks will be not be utilizing generators and will instead have electrical hookups. It was noted in the resolution some of the conditions that council wanted when we talked about it at the COW. That included making sure that for the full duration of the 1 year that all the food trucks must remain movable and operational at all times, as well as the fact that they have to abide by all other ordinances within our codes. That includes our noise ordinance, which as was brought up, and that explicitly that they are only allowed to utilize electrical and utility hookups that are approved by the building official. No electrical hookups using extension cords would be permitted. So those are noted in the resolution as requested. I think at a high level too, as was noted, this site has remained vacant for some time. We really believe this is a great placemaking opportunity in the Midtown area. It's consistent with how we want to see this area transition. Unfortunately, our ordinance is just a little behind in the zoning code perspective. So allowing this as a temporary use would be the only pathway forward to kind of activate the space as intended, which is why we're in front of council today for approval.
All right, if you can print it. All right, so Kaylee, I appreciate that. I want Mr. Alcadre to speak, and I know some council members, but I know that I asked you about this, but I think you said that at 4 o'clock. Our rules, is that correct? That's what I received?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, our rules, 4 o'clock the day of the meeting is a very challenging time. If it wasn't you, I wouldn't accept that at all, I'll be honest with you.
I apologize for that.
We need time
Yes.
to review it. You got to do time to do your job, we have to do our job.
Understood.
Right,
Yes,
and what we
Councilor, I
don't want to do,
appreciate
so we're going to
that.
do is we're going to take a minute, and she's going to print those and bring them by so that they can read the resolution. I'm going to allow Mr. Alcadre to speak, but I think you touched on the high-level aspects, because what we're concerned is that the food trucks, because as Mr. Alcadre had indicated, is that they are completely and must be movable at a moment's notice.
Yes.
So a moment's notice, I want to make sure the resolution has indicated that. We don't want to have any, and I know Mr. Alcadre is going to speak, they spent a lot of money on putting underground electricity, so there should be no reason to see extension cords falling all over the place, because we're trying to activate that space, and Mr. Alcadre hopefully will be helping us activate the proposed midtown area of our city to get it going, and we don't want it to turn into a festival that's temporary, because I've seen a lot of things that are temporary that become permanent. And that's our biggest concern. So, Mr. Alcadre, would you like to address the council?
Good evening. Tarek Alcadre, 330 River Lane, Dearborn, Michigan. I'm also the chairman of the West Downtown Development Authority.
Yes.
Thank you, Kylie. That was a great overview. The project, or the building, has been vacant since, I think, 2018. I purchased it in 2021. To say the least, the Midtown District has been somewhat challenging. We're starting to get some new activities, starting to new housing developments and whatnot. I've looked at various possible uses for this property. I think this one really, I'm really proud of this project. I think it's really come together. I've leased it to a very capable individual. He's got a lot of experience in restaurant management. I'm also very involved. The facility is state-of-the-art. It's well lit. I think we've met all the building and safety requirements. It's well designed. I know a lot of the issues that occurred with food trucks in the city. For example, a lot of the issues with grease management and whatnot, we've fully taken care of. I think we've got Wayne County Health Department coming out tomorrow. So the facility will be fully certified by Wayne County. We've also got, to Kylie's point, there's no generators on the site. There's no extension cords. So from a safety perspective, I think it's top-notch facility, so.
If I can add, I visited the facility under construction. It's immaculate. When you're talking about having like on-site commissary for food trucks that are participating, so none of the gray water or the fresh water is intermixing, and food trucks just sitting there with stale, whatever it is on the inside of it, all that is addressed in this. No generators with the built-in electric. The investment is in the 7 figures. And it really is going to be a destination site. And I'll just say it's probably one of the nicest murals in the city also coming up in the building, if you haven't seen it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, no, I thank you, Mayor, and I think a very good point, because I know early on there was, maybe last year, social media, and I know how we feel about that. It was saying that Dearborn's against food trucks. That's not what we were. Food trucks are regulated, we create our own ordinance to go above and beyond with our fire department. But the fact of the matter is, some of them were not being done properly. They didn't have a commissary, they weren't returning it like they were supposed to do the health codes, and we were finding extension cords running across gas stations, grease being thrown into the sewers. So this is a situation where we're trying to rectify it. And
prep in the
this
alleyway.
situation will put us in a better light where we have an ability to have food trucks in a proper space. Sorry, Mayor, you had something?
Food prep in an alleyway.
Right.
I want to.
Right. So that's the issue, because people have asked us, and the food trucks are not even licensed in Dearborn at this point. What we did is we let a stay go so we could figure out a best way to find a more permanent situation where we can have an active aspect and someone whose family has been in the restaurant business. We want to protect our brick and mortars and our taxpayers that have been doing for years business and paying taxes, that they also have a right to exist and make sure that we have a balance with them too. So any other questions? We're going to have the ordinance come forward because we want to make sure, this is, Mr. Romer, this is just a one passing, there's no.
Yes.
Right, so we have to make sure the ordinance is correct.
And I just had two more points.
Yes, ma'am.
The biggest
Resolution.
issues we've been trying to address with food trucks is the co-sharing of businesses, right? Where you're eating into the parking, where it's hazardous with how you park in your food truck. This site is designed and built to essentially be this food truck park area. That's one. Secondly, it's not competing with the brick and mortar businesses. When I have a food truck that opens up in downtown West Dearborn,
Yeah, that's a
there's
problem.
nothing that irritates me more than opening up in the heart of a business district where people have 3, 4, 5, some people $15,000 a month rents, and you're just finding an open parking spot to place your truck there. And so I think that also is addressed by having a destination site in this way, which you see, in other states across the country.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Couch, do you want to add anything else?
No, just again, I'm a lifelong resident of Dearborn, so I really think just knowing that area, I'm very hopeful and optimistic that it's going to bring a positive energy to the district, and I know energy attracts energy, so I'm hopeful it'll bring in more investment. So.
Absolutely, okay. I think we're waiting for the resolution to come through just to make sure that, there we go. We have an opportunity to look at it. Because this is not a first, this is a one-shot, so we just want to make sure everything's in there. And this was offered by Councilman Hammoud and Councilman Paris. So if any of my colleagues have some recommendation.
Yeah, right away.
Okay, I know, let me pass it out first.
And it's also called a canteen.
That's correct. So what I'd like, if anyone has recommendations on the council, please make sure that you be recognized by myself, and then keep in mind that Councilman Hammoud and Paris would have to support that as written. Again, just to resolve causes.
I just have a question for them.
Okay, Councilman Hammoud?
Yeah, maybe this is a building question, actually, so I don't think we have anyone here who can enforce it, but as far as the electrical hookups using extension cords, I mean, how do we actually define that? Just because, like, how do you know if how do you know if an electrical hookup is an extension cord? What does that exactly mean? Because I just want to make sure that the way we write it ends up interpreted by the building official, where they can actually, I think the whole point is to avoid long lengths of cord.
No, there should be no cords.
Okay.
We'll have the director come
Well, no,
up.
there will be a cord, because in order to attach to an electrical hookup.
I understand that. We had a self-contained. Let's have the director indicate. There's a terminology which is not in here, so. Director.
Council President Jordan Torrey, Director of Economic Development. If you want to have that specificity, if you simply refer to the Michigan Building Code, the Electrical Code, those standards are within that code, and our inspectors it's black and white. It'll meet the code or it doesn't meet the code, and there won't be any sort of room for gray area interpretation.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry?
One will be reviewed and approved by the building inspector, the extension cord will not be.
Right, okay.
That's how you would be able to enforce that and know whether it's permitted or not.
It says the resolve card it says that no electrical hookups using extension cords are permitted.
Yeah.
Mr. Romer?
Because there's a part before that says it's going to be by the building official.
Yeah, food trucks are only permitted.
Yes.
Electrical utility hookups.
That's right.
Using electrical utility hookups that are approved by the building official, and no electrical hookups using extension cords are permitted.
Yeah,
So
I guess.
your distinction there is, when we're talking about what would be approved, it would be permitted by the building official. Anything that does not have that authority, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super okay with the first part of the sentence. I just have my only just nuanced concern is, technically an electrical hookup is a form of cord, right?
Yeah, but
Guys.
I'll be fair,
Okay.
my understanding is this is from the request of council, that
Yeah, I
that latter
understand
part.
that. I know,
I
that's
would
why
be fine with just saying
Yeah,
whatever is
Yeah, I'm
approved by the
sure,
building
I'm sure they'll
official.
be refined, yeah, I'm not. Okay, there's a clear distinction with an extension cord and a unit's ability to source power. I mean, this is ridiculous. So, I mean, this is why the last time we had meetings the last 17 hours. So I'm gonna explain it to you. They have capable people there. I'm sure the administration would like it just to the building official. I'm not gonna leave it to the building official. Extension cords are at what they are. They're extension cords. That means that they don't fit, they extend. So if you want us to see Black's dictionary for extension, we'll say what an extension is. But it's not extension if the unit requires a source of power. There's a difference. We don't want to turn this into a carnival, because that's what will happen, unless my colleagues want to, because I will not support that. So extension cords are not allowed. So do you have a question?
I understand. All I'm trying to do is provide some leeway for them. Only
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I prefer
All
the
right,
Weber's
fine.
definition.
No
I know,
problem.
I guess what
I prefer
I'm
the-
trying to do is not have leeway,
I get
because
it,
the
okay.
leeway is what's been known in Dearborn as they can decide what they want to do when they want to do it.
All right, whatever.
That's why we're redoing every ordinance from the last administration.
I'm sorry, I'm just an electrical engineer who knows that cords are cords, right?
Yeah. Well, extension cords are not, and
Maybe to a
we use a dictionary definition. So
All right,
you can use
whatever.
any engineering you
Good
want.
luck.
So are you okay with it?
Whatever.
All right, does anybody else have any other questions? I mean, must be compliant with all ordinance requirements, including limited noise ordinance
Are Duracell batteries okay?
during the full duration for purpose.
Flashlights, candles.
Must remove. I mean, it might be funny, but there's a reason why we have this ordinance, because we did have extension cords running across alleys. And we did have people putting grease inside the sewers.
Then you can,
So,
then you can
we're not gonna
regulate
do
it
that.
based on length, you can regulate it based on all
Must
kinds of
removable
options.
operations at all times. So the removable, what about the structure aspect? Because what I don't want to see happening is added on structures to the self-contained unit. So for example, if you have a trailer or a truck, and it's a unit that is self-contained and approved, I don't want to have them to be able to add awnings and outside stuff attached to it. So Mr. Al-Qadri, do you have any objection to that?
So just to clarify, some trailers have like a pop-up on it, be careful. And so what I would say is though, they're in an outdoor patio area that's already established by this facility.
Right.
So.
Mayor, I know, but again, we're getting into things, this is what I'm talking about. If the unit is sold with it on it, and it's part of the unit as a retractable unit, and it has it on it, then that would be part of the unit. What I'm talking about is that unit then would not have footings or require to be drilled into the asphalt. Am I correct?
That's correct. And so what I would offer, Council President, is that in order to do the outdoor patio, they have an approved site plan that shows essentially, if you look at that third page of the memo that says the proposed food truck layout, where the tables and chairs are allowed, that's the only thing that's allowed. So if they start adding stuff to that, attached or not, that actually would have to come through for re-review again.
Okay, it would be a violation of the site plan.
Yes.
Okay, right. I want to make sure it's clear in the resolution. So, I mean, I guess I like to hear from my colleagues, but we're going on a dangerous scope here, because to me, we want to make sure that this thing is airtight, okay? Because I don't want to see stuff become permanent. And I think I made that abundantly clear Thursday. And I guess I'd like to hear from my colleagues. I mean, if somebody thinks that something's gonna park there for 10 months and not become permanent, I think there's a concern. I mean, my personal opinion is I think they should be rotated, but that's not under our purview.
That's more of an operation, but they are trucks. They've all got wheels on them, so if and when not, they're.
So they're not trailers.
No, they're food trucks.
Even trailers have the wheels.
Yeah, but the trailers can't move on their own.
Are they trailers as well?
No, these are licensed food trucks.
They're licensed food trucks. I mean, but to your point, Council President, there's no, I mean, addition of footings and whatnot, that's all gotta be permitted. That would not be something that could be done without the city's approval.
Councilman Hamud?
I think we cover that concept in the must remain movable and operational at all times. If our inspector goes there at any time and says, move this truck, and they can't prove it and do it, then congrats, they lose their resolution and operation. So it's actually super heavy-handed, honestly.
It's also covered in the last clause before the immediate effect, to Kaylee's point, where it's required to remain compliant with all ordinance requirement, which is an approved site plan. It is a violation to exceed your site plan approval. that provision covers that specific issue.
Yeah, which includes the.
So you wouldn't be able to add on under
the
that
6
provision.
spots, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Romer, you said to add it on, it's already on?
You
did say?
wouldn't, no, you wouldn't be able to expand the footprint or under that site plan, because that site plan is an approval that if you deviate from, it would require additional approval, otherwise it's a violation.
Right, but the site plan doesn't come through the council, that's gonna go through the planning, correct?
But it's required to comply with the requirements of the code which the council approved.
Okay. So does any of my colleagues have any other questions regarding this? No? Okay, excellent. All right, and everybody's reviewed it, and there's no changes as written. Is that correct? Councilman Hamud and Paris, you both agree? Correct. All right, any other questions or comments on this item? Okay, hearing and seeing none, a unanimous roll will be attached. Good luck, we wish you the best. Thank you very much. Next item.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Item 31, resolution by Councilmembers Al-Sawafi and Herrick, granting the request of the Dearborn Shop to host an outdoor temporary market on select Saturdays in 2024 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the privately owned parking lot located directly adjacent to its retail shop at 21906 Garrison Street, subject to all applicable ordinances and the rules and regulations of the police department, also authorizing a noise waiver during this event in times and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The Dearborn Shop is seeking approval to host a temporary outdoor markets on February 4, 2024 at a privately owned parking lot directly adjacent to its building at 21906 Garrison. These temporary outdoor market days will allow Dearborn residents and visitors to enjoy retail food and operations at a convenient location in the West Dearborn commercial area. The temporary market is proposed for the following Saturdays in 2024 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., July 27th, July 17th, July 27th, August 17th and August 30th, September 7th, October 12th and 19th, and November 2nd. This market will host approximately 16 vendors and 2 food trucks. All the participating vendors and food trucks will obtain the necessary street vendor license and food truck licensing through the city of Dearborn. Site plan was submitted to Economic Development Department on May 24th with no objections, and the plan has been approved by the police and fire departments as well. It's also being requested that the city council waive the noise ordinance during the summer market events, and immediate effect is being requested. Any questions or comments on this item? Councilman Al-Sawafi.
Thank you, Council President. So I visited the Dearborn Shop. I actually did a council segment there, and I encourage everybody to visit it. It has a lot of wonderful locally made goods. Talks about the history of Dearborn, a lot of books in there from local authors. So I just encourage everybody, if you got the moment, just go and check it out.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 32, resolution by Councilmembers Hamud and Herrick, authorizing the American Muslim Society to obtain a special use of land permit in order to host a temporary outdoor health fair at its privately owned parking lot located at 9945 Verner Highway on August 31st, 2024 from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also authorizing a noise waiver during the event in time and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The American Muslim Society, or AMS, is seeking approval to hold a special outdoor health fair at its privately owned parking lot located at 9945 Verner Highway. This free event will be held on Saturday, August 31st, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is also requested that council waive the noise ordinance during the time and day of the event. The fair will promote a culture of wellness within the community by offering free health screenings, educational resources, and information about healthy living habits. The AMS anticipates participation from approximately 20 diverse healthcare providers. This event is open to the public, and AMS expects strong attendance from the residents of all ages and backgrounds. The special use of land application, along with a site plan, was submitted to the Economic Development Department, ED Department, May 24th, and with no objections, and the plan was also reviewed by the police and fire department as well. It is requested immediate effect as well. We have somebody here from the society. Sir, would you like to state your...
Good evening. My name is Ali Awnallah. I'm the operation manager of the American Muslim Society.
I'm sorry, your name again?
Ali Awnallah.
Ali.
AWNALLAH.
All right. You're the president?
No, office manager. Office manager.
Office manager of the association. Okay.
Of the American Muslim Society. Yeah, this is the second annual health fair we did. So we did it last year, so it wasn't successful. So we want to do it like annually, so to serve the community and help the community for like free consulting and medical screening.
Well, we appreciate that. I mean, it's, these health fairs, as with our health department, we know that it's very needed, so we do appreciate it. Do you have an idea of how many attendance was last year versus this year? Do you expect more?
Yeah, last year it was like about 20 vendors, like doctors and pharmacists and other vendors. And there's about like 150 of community members benefited from that.
Benefited from the fair?
From the fair, yeah.
For the one-day fair?
Last year,
One
yes.
day, right?
One day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, from 11 to 4.
Absolutely. Councilman Enos?
Yeah, just one question.
Go ahead.
What type of health issues will you be screening for?
I mean, they did like a blood test, eyes screening, and sometimes they provide the pharmacist provided a free, free stuff for the community. Yeah, that's all.
Councilwoman Herrick?
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I know the health fairs are very valued, but especially when people have trouble getting out of the community to receive services. So thank you for doing that. I was just curious, do you have music or something? Why are you asking for the waiver about the sound ordinance?
No, there's no music.
Okay.
I don't know why they did that, but there's no music.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I wondered as well, I'm not sure if we approved it last year like that, but I'm assuming it's just based on the amount of volume that's coming through. But I agree with you, so. But there's no amplified sound? Or
No.
No band or?
No, nothing.
Or Becky or anything?
Nothing.
All right. Just want to make sure. Yes. All right, we appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Councilman Paris?
Just one quick question. How do you plan to publicize this event out into the community so people are aware of it? How do you plan on providing information out to the community so that they are aware of this event?
On the social media, and we have the flyer. We hand the flyer and after Jummah prayer to everybody, and we have social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all that. Yeah. And it's announced by the imam, a couple times before the event.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wish you the best of luck.
All right.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing none, so is attached. Thank you very much. Next item.
Item 33, resolution by council members Mahmoud and El-Sawafi authorizing the temporary use and closure of a select portion of West Village Drive between Mason and Monroe Street from 3 p.m. on Fridays until 7 a.m. on Mondays for the WDDA summer events taking place July 26, 2024 and September 30th, 2024, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. The Economic Development Department is requesting the City Council to authorize a road closure of a select portion of West Village Drive between Mason and Monroe. I think we had some photos, right? Should be posted up for the resident. The select portion will run from the border of the private parking lot on 22060 West Village Drive to Monroe Street each Friday, starting at 3 p.m. to Monday at 7 a.m. This temporary pilot program running through July 26, 2024 through September 30th, 2024 is necessary to facilitate a safe pedestrian experience for visitors and residents during the summer months. The street closure start date is contingent upon the receipt of the vehicle barriers being placed in the street in anticipation of delivery the week of July 22nd of this year. Again, Economic Development Department, again, in conjunction, there you go. Thank you, there's the man. In conjunction with the Department of Public Works and Fire Department, as well as the Police Department, have worked closely together to develop a road closure plan. This is requesting immediate effect. Any questions or comments on this item? Councilman Hammoud.
So, speaking of other long time coming things, I'm really excited about this. I know we've been doing traffic studies, thanks to the mayor's office as well. I think this, as well as some of the other possible closures on West Village Drive, we had residents here earlier talking about noise and all these things, and they said, the police department understands the issues that they have, and I think a big part of it has to do with vehicular traffic. And as far as people cruising up and down there, you know what? I go out to the West Dearborn downtown and I see it. It's quite obvious that one of the biggest issues for noise and public safety is having to do with the cars. So, you know, in every modern downtown area, pedestrians are supposed to reign supreme, and I think we have kind of a good problem, which has to do with the increased foot traffic, and as part of that, you know, we need to start enabling more, you know, pedestrian-oriented planning in those areas. So I think this is a great first step to kind of figure out if our downtown can survive without a fraction of a block open to car traffic. I have a feeling that they'll be fine. And I think the only, we'll call it minor concern, just for residents watching at home about the closure when you go out to see them, the aesthetics of the roadblocks, I think we're going to have to work on. They look like giant shark teeth coming out of the ground. They're very, very safe, and they will definitely protect the pedestrians. But you know, rest assured, after this pilot, and hopefully it goes well, we will be looking into, I hope, more nice-looking barriers for the downtown to give it a better, you know, Dearborn look or something like that. So, but I do really, really want to thank the Director of DPW, Jordan Twardy, and the Mayor. I know you guys have actually been legitimately working on this for over a year now, so thank you guys.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay, any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
I believe item 34, there's a request to withdraw.
Okay, so procedurally, Mr. Romer, there was an offer and a support, so do they need to, that needs to be withdrawn by the offer and support?
Yes.
All right, so the offer was by Councilman Enos. You withdraw, and supported by Councilwoman Herrick?
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn. Okay, so 34 is withdrawn. Next item.
Item 35, resolution by Councilmembers El Sawafi and Paris awarding a contract to Ventura LLC in the amount of $230,097 for splash pad upgrades at Hemlock, Crowley, and Whitmore Bowles Parks.
All right, appreciate it. The city of Dearborn installed splash pads at Hemlock and Crowley Parks in 2013. After 10 years of usage, the decision was made to upgrade the splash pads in these two areas, in two stages. Stage one was completed in the summer of 2023. The upcoming second stage will replace the above-ground components of the pads, making them viable for the next 10 to 15 years. Parks and Recreation Department, in conjunction with purchasing, is recommending an award of a contract for upgrade of the splash pads at Crowley, the Pier, Whitmore Bowles Parks as well. The requested amount is continued in this project at $230,097. Any questions or comments on this item? Councilman Paris.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to make mention, because I know residents will pay attention to this. We did have some problems this past year with both Hemlock and Crowley and some of the operation, because there were operational areas mechanically in some of the area that was not operating properly, and we've gone and have made some improvements, and we are up and open to running these splash pads, and be reassured, just even by passing this item tonight, that the city does have the commitment to make sure to go ahead and have these splash pads open. And again, in particular, Crowley Park and Hemlock, we've had some difficulty, and I think this is a very good thing that we're doing, trying to upgrade everything and making it operational for everyone.
It's good to see that you're supporting the parks there, Councilman Pierce. I could tell you that I agree with you. The old ones, I mean, it seems like yesterday, I was here the 10 years, but I'll tell you, the difference in material is substantial. And some of the uses, I think Mayor, you could speak on it, that some of the people didn't want to use it because they would fall, and it was very harsh.
Yeah, also the contractor is different. I think that's one of the biggest things. You saw the aesthetic over at Morningside Splash Pad, and so Ventura does a phenomenal job on constructing them. They do this for
They did.
The ones who constructed the other splash pads, different contractor. I don't think it was their, say, expertise. I'd also say, you know, I take my daughter to Whitmore Bowles and to Crowley, and some of the accessible features are no longer working. And so this is also, I think, at this point, we'll have all pools updated and every splash pad across the city updated.
We're good. Now we're going to work on the roads.
Garden hose has been replaced.
All right, any other questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 36, resolution by Councilmembers Herrick and Paris, authorizing a contract purchase from Ventura LLC in the amount of $124,615 for the purchase and installation of a rentable shelter at Levelgood Park. Also authorizing the finance director to transfer funds in the amount of $124,615 from the 634 fund and project ARPA 25 to the 401 fund and Project I-29524 and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. So the Parks and Recreation Department has identified a need for a revenue-generating shelter at Level Good Park. The residents and guests will be able to rent this new, there you go, see it there on your screen, the new 20 by 44 polygon gable shelter during park rental season each year. The shelter will be able to accommodate parties of approximately 100 people. Parks and Recreation, in conjunction with purchasing, recommends the award the contract to Ventura LLC for the purchase and installation of the shelter at Levelgood Park. Again, they also recently completed upgrades at Morningside Park, including the new shelter. It is respectfully being requested the council authorize this one-time purchase of $124,615. An immediate effect. Any questions or comments? Councilman Paris.
Thank you, Council President. I know we talked about this briefly at the Thursday Committee of the Whole.
Yes.
But could I find out definitively what the location is proposed to have this pavilion at?
Yeah,
And what went into making that decision?
Yeah, it'd be northwest corner, so adjacent to the parking lot and adjacent to the comfort station.
Is that the accurate spot right there?
Yes, yep, that's it.
Excellent.
So it would be the main parking lot across from Divine Child?
Correct.
And then just south of Wilson? That's correct?
Yeah. I don't know if that.
He's not a resident, so he's not gonna know the exact street name.
Hey.
No, I understand it, but I just wanted to make sure, because I'm at that park quite a bit.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to understand what went into, I know it's gotta be close to the parking lot and making use of that so people can get to it and carry things.
Yeah, that was the big
whatever, so-
consideration, is the loading, unloading. So people don't have to go a long distance with wagons or just carrying stuff.
Yeah, that pavilion location is not gonna interfere with the playground equipment that's near that location.
No, and I just wanted to bring up too, we do generate a significant amount of revenue annually from rentals.
People want that.
Yes.
They want to use that. And we
As
don't
of
have one.
last week, Hemlock had already been under about 9,600, Ford Field around 14,000, and Crowley about 7,500. So a decent amount of revenue is pulled in through the shelters.
And I appreciate the commitment of the city, what they've done to upgrade that park and all the parks too. And living nearby, and I apologize, I was not able to attend this last Saturday when we had, a ceremony there to recognize some of the things that have taken place at that park. So thank you for that.
I threw an 86-mile-an-hour heater.
I don't know if it was 86.
Yeah. Well, no, we have, and Mayor, since we're on the topic, and the director's here.
Miles, whatever it was.
There has been a lot of social media posting, which we have shared regarding, as I've learned on my tenure, I mean, we pass things, but when it comes being done, people really notice it. The tennis courts are just incredible. Incredible. So I want to, I mean, whatever we did, we definitely picked the right vendor. I've been here when we picked the wrong vendor, so I can tell you, it's a tremendous job. And the way the parks are looking, I think that people are very, very appreciative, and they do notice it, Mayor.
I was gonna say, the best post I saw was somebody went to all our sport courts, and then went to a neighboring city's sport courts and took pictures, and ours just blew them out the water.
Yeah.
And so, not that I'm competitive, but.
Well, I know. Councilwoman Herrick?
Thank you. Now that we saw the image of where it's going to be placed at the park, it looks like we may be removing some trees.
So one dead tree and then potentially some limbing up is what I was told.
Because I was going to ask if there's any live trees that are removed, if we could please make sure that we plant an equal number of trees in their place on the property.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Again, this is immediate effect. Any objection, unanimous roll? Okay, hearing none, unanimous roll shall be checked. Shall be attached. Next item.
Item 37, resolution by Councilmembers Hamud and Herrick authorizing a cooperative contract purchase via the State of Michigan's Extended Purchasing Program and Macomb Contract Alternate from Longhammer Ford in the amount of $681,315 for the purchase of 15 model year 2025 Ford Police Interceptor and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Purchasing on behalf of the Police Department recommends a cooperative contract purchase for 15 2025 utility police Ford inspector vehicles from Longhammer Ford. The purchase of these vehicles is based on the 2025 Vehicle State of Michigan contract and Macomb contract alternate. The requested amount is $681,315. The new Ford Police Interceptor utilities will replace 15 of our current Interceptors in the marked fleet that have exceeded 100,000 miles and are becoming more costly to maintain and keep on patrol. It is requested that the council authorize the purchase of these Interceptors with immediate effect because of the lead time for the vehicles is approximately 4 months. Any questions or comments on this item?
I'll just add, there's 25
Mayor?
new vehicles in the last 12 months.
Yes. Yes, vehicles are very crucial for operations, so we want to make sure that our police department does have everything that they need. So this is a regular maintenance turnover, so we appreciate it. This is, again, immediate effect. Any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 38, resolution by council members Herrick and El Sawafi authorizing a cooperative contract purchase via the Sourcewell Cooperative Contract from Brown Equipment Company in the amount of $149,919.15 for the purchase of a compact sweeper for the Department of Public Works, requesting immediate effect.
Okay, purchasing on behalf of the Department of Public Works recommends a cooperative contract purchase for a multi-hog CV350, 75 horsepower compact sweeper from Brown Equipment Company. This sweeper will be used in parking decks. Oh, we got a picture. There you go. Oh, you guys got a video? That's phenomenal. I did ask for a video. I'm glad you were able to do it. So
It's actually me driving it.
this compact sweeper will keep our parking garages, bump outs on the roads on Michigan Avenue and Warren Avenue where they cannot get in, as you see here. That's incredible. And for narrow spaces, previously these areas were not able to be accessed by our current street sweeper, thus for required more manpower and labor to go out and maintain them. And this requested amount is $149,919.15. And this unit is actually in stock, which is great to see. It will be available in 10 days, so hopefully we'll see it in the neighborhood soon.
Driving through Avalanche.
Any questions or comments? So this is really good. This is a situation where, Mayor, under your leadership, allowing our workforce to explain to you what is it that they need, such as the vacuum trucks and things that are more efficient and are actually be more productive. So this is great news for us and will definitely help us in the future.
I just want you to know, we went through like 12 different demos on 12 different versions of this type of sweeper.
Really? That may be.
It's hard to find the right sweeper.
Well, I appreciate it. It's better than getting the wrong ones, as I've seen. We've had brushes that cost as much as the sweeper. So we learned that lesson. That is excellent. So we do appreciate it. It's worth the time to put into it so we can get the right equipment. Any questions or comments? Councilman Enos.
When do I get a chance to drive this thing?
Oh, you got to get permission through the administration through Monday.com. That would be pretty nice. Councilman Ferris?
Thank you, Council President. Just because it's somewhat of a related item, can anybody in the administration tell us then how many operational sweepers that we do have now? Because I know we've had a problem for maintenance and we do have a lot of questions from residents that, hey, I haven't seen a sweeper, and then I've seen it several times.
Yeah.
Right, we're going, the director will state it, but we're going in the direction of charting these, so go ahead.
Tim Hawkins, DPW Director. We have 4 operational at the moment. MTech is here. They're repairing 3 of them, so hopefully we'll have 7 of the 8 functional. 1 had broke the rear axle. It's going to take a couple weeks to repair. But hopefully we'll have the 7 out.
If I can ask then, what is the plan for any particular, the 5 zones, from what I'm understanding?
Yes.
What is the plan then? How many times through a season are we expecting to hit some of the residential streets?
So the miscommunication is we've been hitting every zone twice a month. The residents say we haven't even come by, and they go to work and we sweep their street, and then they say we didn't come by. And then there was some issues with garbage being dumped on streets by our GFL, our old garbage vendor. So just because we came through at 7:30 in the morning, trash was picked up, stuff was dropped, wasn't picked up. Residents assumed that we hadn't been there. So It's going to continue that way. Our program is twice a month, and as long as our equipment is running, we'll be there.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Weather dependent, so if it's raining, they don't go out.
That's correct. Yeah.
Councilman Al-Sawafi, then I have a follow-up.
Sure. Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to remind residents to keep, and if you support me on this, Director, keep the trash containers out of the streets, correct?
Correct.
And on the lawn, 'cause
Correct. On the lawn or in their own approach. Some actually pull out, put them in their approach, and then they get tipped, and they end up empty on the lawn when the driver goes by. So, yes, and that allows us to sweep continually down the street.
absolutely, in the car as well. And as far as this new street sweeper, I know it's a different model than what we're used to. What about the maintenance of that? Do we have the capability to perform this maintenance?
Yes, it's actually less maintenance on that model. It's a smaller unit. We got it because the turning radius, we can actually do a full U-turn inside the parking deck at any level. So if we go.
Does it make the maintenance more complicated? for you?
No, it does not. Because of the way the brooms work in the front
Okay.
and the actual conveyor in the center, it's actually less mechanical moving pieces.
Right.
That's awesome.
And the technology, these units in the last 10 years have went light years ahead, so they have improved substantially.
Yes, and that unit actually has, and one of the selling features for us too was it's got an onboard power washer. So as we're in the deck, we could actually shut down if there was just something there, food or something that we could clean off and then clean with the sweeper itself.
Excellent. That leads to the last question I had, Director, because some of the questions we received on the council is the truck, the water truck, always there before the sweeper? Are they always done continuously, or is it sometimes we sweep without water?
So when the mayor said that we don't typically send out in the rain, he's correct for like the 90 percentile. If it's a light rain, we may be able to go, but the sweeper is always out. That's what flushes all the garbage. Yeah, that flush, or the water truck. That's what flushes all the garbage from the center to the edges, so we only have to make one pass down the edge of each side.
So we'll always have the water truck?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, the unanimous roll should be attached. Next item. Thank you, Director.
Item 39, resolution by council members Paris and Al-Sawafi authorizing a 5-year cooperative contract purchase with 4 one-year renewal options via the Sourcewell Cooperative Contract from Axon Enterprise in the amount not to exceed $2,662,494 for the initial 5-year term for in-car and body-worn cameras for the police department and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The police department, current contract for in-car and body-worn cameras is expiring this year. The hardware and technology on the current equipment has become outdated and no longer fits the needs of the Dearborn Police Department. The purchase of a new equipment will allow for a number of new features, including the ability for live stream officers, body-worn and in-car cameras, visualization of officers' location in real time via GPS, connection with our current flock camera systems, longer battery life, conductive to patrol officers working of 12-hour shifts, and automatic radio transmission and body-worn camera videos as well. The contract will replace and provide for 200 body-worn cameras and 60 in-car cameras for patrol vehicles and 3 interview rooms for the police station. The police department, in conjunction with purchasing, recommends the award of a contract via a cooperative contract for the in-car and body-worn cameras for the value of the contract not to exceed $2,662,494 over a 5-year period. This initial contract term shall be for 5 years with 4 one-year renewals, operations at the same price, terms and conditions upon satisfactory performance by the contractor. It is requested that the council authorize the award and renewal options contingent upon satisfactory performance by the vendor, and immediate effect is being requested to expedite the product. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay, any objection? Councilman Paris?
I just want to reiterate what was said earlier today, too. There was a comment about our police and probably even fire, too. I want to bring that up. That let there be no question about it, that this police department and fire department are probably better equipped than just about any other departments anywhere. And I'm speaking from experience, too. You know, I was a police officer for a long time. And I go back to the 1970s that I worked here in Dearborn and on. And there is a difference from night and day. What may have been good from a time period back then has just been completely excelled over time to where we are now. And they've got a tough job, and I think, I don't want to speak for all my council, but I think I can here. I think every member of this council supports police and fire, and we make absolutely certain that they're well-equipped to be able to do the jobs that they have been asked to do. So I thank you for this.
No, thank you, Councilman. I think a good point too to bring up is the mayor always indicates social media sometimes shows one thing and so rapid, it looks like it's happening all over the city. And I think you brought up a statistic, which I think if you mind sharing again for our residents back in '80s, the number of cars stolen versus they are today, how much drastic difference there was. Do you remember that?
You know what? What I will say is any person that is a victim of a crime, that's important. You know, you feel victimized, so if you have your car stolen, you know, you feel like you're a victim, and you are. We don't want that to happen, so you want to have the resources and the equipment and the ability to go ahead and address a lot of these crime problems. There are. But I would just give one example, and it was a different time. You have the ignition systems that are different from what they are today. You have a multitude of reasons for having a lot fewer stolen cars now than what you used to. But I will tell anybody, look up crime stats from 1986, and I will tell you that we had over 1,500 stolen cars in the city of Dearborn. And this past year, 500 was a lot, but we've had even fewer, several hundred, just a couple hundred just a few years ago. And there has been an increase. There has been an increase in crime. There's no doubt about it. And people that feel victimized, they feel it even more. And then, of course, spread it, social media, so everybody else hears about it too and thinks that overwhelmingly everybody is a victim of a crime. You are. This is our community. We want to make it safe.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 40, resolution by council members Herrick and El Sawafi authorizing the finance director to recognize the 2024 Detroit-Wayne County Mental Health Authority grant awarded to the Dearborn Police Department in the amount of $50,000 in account 101-2410-330-0790 and appropriate the same amount in account 101-2410-511.98-00. Also authorizing the finance director to add 15 part-time slots to the part-time position control for police department community service agents and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. This is the 10th consecutive year the Dearborn Police Department has been awarded the grant from Detroit-Wayne County Mental Health Authority. The grant amount is $50,000 with no local match at this particular time for this unit. The Dearborn Police Department will utilize the $15,000 to hire 15 youths as community service agents and provide part-time employment through September 30th of 2024. This is a reimbursement grant. It is requested the finance director authorize and recognize the $50,000 in the General Police Administration Fund, intergovernmental revenue local, and appropriate the same in the general fund. To implement this, the timeline is short, so the immediate effect is being requested. Any questions or comments on this item? Councilwoman Herrick.
Thank you. I don't know if there's anybody here that can answer my question on this, but of the 15 youth that get these opportunities with our police department, I'm wondering what the types of work that they do during the program is, what experience they get. And do we know, have any of the past participants, because we've been doing it for 10 years, have they pursued criminal justice degrees or even come to work for the Dearborn Police Department?
Tim McHale, Dearborn Police Commander. The type of work that they do is very similar to our regular full-time interns. We'll have them work administrative duties in the police department. They'll work the front desk, take reports, have contact with citizens. We'll have them go on ride-alongs with police officers out in the field so they can get a first-hand look at what the job really entails. Many of the individuals that have participated in the summer intern program have gone on to become regular full-time interns, which has been really a great resource and fed right into our new hires for police officers. So we have had a number of youth that have participated in this program that have become police officers.
Thank you, because I know that using the grant is a great opportunity for the young people who participate and for us, because we don't have to match that grant. And that knowing that they come to work for the city of Dearborn or go to other local police departments, but particularly here, in a time when we know it's hard for police officers, I commend anybody who goes into law enforcement, and we see that you put your lives on the line every day. But for them to get this kind of hands-on experience with our department, to know that this is a place that they want to come to work eventually, I appreciate that you make that opportunity happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commander. Any other questions or comments? All right. Any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing seen, done. Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 41, resolution by council members Al Swafi and Hamud approving the application of American Fireworks at 7041 Darrow Road, Hudson, Ohio, to obtain a special events license in order to conduct firework display at the 2024 Homecoming Festival at Ford Field, located at 22051 Cherry Hill on August 3rd and August 4th, 2024 at approximately 10 p.m. Also authorizing a noise waiver during the show, and that the fire chief be authorized to schedule rain dates if needed and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The Dearborn Fire Department is requesting approval for 2 fireworks shows as part of our 2024 Homecoming Festival. The dates of the show are August 3rd and 4th. Additionally, the Dearborn Fire Department requests a waiver of a Dearborn noise ordinance, as well as an ability for the chief to set a rain date. The fireworks will take place at Ford Field at our homecoming on Cherry Hill. And Mayor, I know that we have spoken a few times regarding the future of fireworks. I know we had some complaints earlier and things that we're looking at, and as far as achieving these type of fireworks in a different manner. Do you speak on that?
Yeah, the request is not coming before you at this time, but we inquired into what a fully customized drone show would look like.
Right.
Kind of like you see at the Olympics. And so we got what the quote is.
Can't get that?
No, it's like 40 or 50 G's to have like the ultimate of all shows. But that's a one-day performance. And that's as long as you can imagine. It's obviously silent, but you can draw whatever you like. The most beautiful car blocker, whatever you want to do, you can do.
Yeah, we have seen it, and also for the pets in the area and stuff, we've had a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions, wait your turn, from residents regarding the amount of noise that happens on the fireworks and the pets that are affected. So I know, hopefully, Mayor, that we've talked about it, and
For
hopefully
next year,
the cost will go down, and I'd love to be the first to do that in our
Sterling
area.
Heights is doing it this year.
Okay.
And so if you want to go see it, I think they're the weekend before us, I think their festival. And so you can go see what their drone show is like if you want to know what it looks like.
All right, excellent. And I know at the end I have some comments on the homecoming, and I know we have our director here regarding that as well. Any questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll?
You can say 34th Council.
Yeah. I'd like to, there's a lot of things we could put in there. Hearing and seeing no objection, unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 42, resolution by council members Enos and Herrick approving the request of the Divine Child High School Alumni Association to conduct their 31st annual Falcon 5K run on Saturday, August 10th, from approximately 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. with assistance from the police department and traffic control for the entire duration of the parade route, subject to the reimbursement for city services and all applicable ordinances and rules and regulations of the police department, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The Divine Child High School Alumni Association is seeking city council approval to conduct their 31st annual Falcon 5K run event on Saturday, August 10, 2024, from approximately 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. The 31st annual Falcon Run event will attract approximately 250 to 300 participants, and consists of a free tot trot on Divine Child School, Mark Carpenter Memorial Jog as well on the track, and there's a 1 mile run as well as the traditional 5K. The Falcon 1 mile run route will remain the same as in previous years. There are minimal disruptions to the roads, with assistance from the Dearborn Police Department to ensure runners and citizens are safe, and immediate effect is being requested. Any questions or comments on this one? Okay. Any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 43, resolution by council members Paris and Herrick approving the request of the Karbala Islamic Education Center to conduct its 10th annual Ashura Commemorative March for Justice Rally on Sunday, August 25th, 2024, from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. with assistance from the Police Department for traffic safety crowd control for the entire duration of the event, subject to reimbursement for city services, applicable ordinances, rules and regulations, also authorizing a noise waiver for the duration of the event and requesting immediate effect.
All right, the Karbala Islamic Education Center is seeking city council approval to conduct its Ashura Commemoration March Rally on Sunday, August 25th, 2024, from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is also being requested that the city noise ordinance be waived during the event. The Ashura Commemoration March Rally will begin at the Karbala Center, located on 15332 Warren Avenue, and travel west on Warren Avenue to Greenfield and continue south along northbound Greenfield Road of the divided highway and end at Ford Woods Park. The estimated attendance of the event is approximately 4,000 people. Ford Woods pool will be closed for that day, and the Dearborn Ice Skating Center is also expected to adjust hours of operation. Will also be accordingly to allow smooth operation for the March Rally. Immediate effect is being requested. This has been an annual event, and I think I mentioned at the committee of the whole that I wanted to thank the police and the Recreation Department on the handling of this. There's been seemingly several crowds with very, very minimal disturbances and effects, so we do appreciate that. Any questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 44, resolution by council members Osawafi and Paris adopting the tentative agreement between the city of Dearborn and the Dearborn Firefighters Association, IAFF Local Union, effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2029, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The tentative agreement was ratified by the Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 412, on Thursday, June 17, 2024. The agreement is in effect for 5 years. Any questions or comments on this item? Any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 45, from resolution by council members Paris and Osawafi, authorizing the finance director to recognize and appropriate state court administrative office grant funds in the amount of $5,000 in the general fund, 19th District Court intergovernmental revenue account, and approximately $5,000 in the general fund, 19th District Court Veterans Treatment Court grant division account, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The 19th District Dearborn Veterans Treatment Court is requesting authorization for the Finance Director to authorize and appropriate a $5,000 grant award funding from the State Court Administration Office or Scale. The 19th District Court applied for additional funding and reallocation of a grant through Scale of March 21st, 2024 to fund our Veteran Treatment Court program through fiscal year 2024. The grant fiscal period for October 1st of 2023 through September 30th of 2024. There is no match requirement. This funding will continue the treatment services to a growing number of veteran participants, thereby reducing alcohol and substance abuse and promoting public safety. It is requested the council authorize the grant awarded with immediate effect. Any questions or comments on this item? Councilman
Thank you,
Osawafi.
Council President. As you know, I'm a veteran myself, and veterans make a huge sacrifice for our country, and it's, I believe, our duty to support the veterans when they come back to the civilian life. And this program, the Veterans Treatment Court, which is administered by Judge Gene Hunt and Mr. Murray, who do a fantastic job in providing the services to these veterans to really give them a second chance at the civilian life and help them overcome some of the challenges that they face. So, just a shout out to the Corps and the great job they do. And all the volunteers. There's a lot of volunteers that are involved in this program as well.
Yeah, it's an excellent program that Judge Hunt did take on when he was elected, and it has become a very good part of our community, so it is well needed. We do appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Any objection to a unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 46, resolution by council members Herrick and Paris authorizing the finance director to recognize and appropriate the Veterans Treatment Court Innovations Program grant award in the amount of $67,742 in the general fund, 19th District Court intergovernmental revenue account, and appropriate $67,742 in the general fund, 19th District Court Veterans Treatment Court Innovations Grant Division account, and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The 19th District Court Veterans Treatment Court applied for another grant funding under the Veterans Treatment Court Innovations Program that was designed to help veterans treatment courts enhance their social connectiveness programming. Specifically, the court will partner with Armed Services Arts Partnership, or ASAP, Incorporated, the social work data incorporated to implement the program of arts-related workshops and classes. The social work data will also collaborate with ASAP to collect and prep host assessments, data on participants, and will provide necessary data and reports to the court to meet the grant requirements and measure the effectiveness of the ASAP in improving social connectivity among veterans in recovery. The 19th District Court Veterans Court Treatment Court is requesting authorization by the Finance Director to recognize and appropriate $67,742 in grant funding from the Justice for Vets program through All Rise, funded by a National Association of Drug Court Professionals in collaboration with the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and there is no city match requirement at this. Any questions or comments? Any objection to a unanimous roll? Hearing and seeing none, a unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 47, resolution by Council President Sereni, supported unanimously, offering condolences to the family of Kevin Krieger and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Kevin Krieger was born on June 29, 1977, passed away on June 10th of 2024. He's a lifelong resident of the city of Dearborn and a devoted husband and wife to Melissa. He was a cherished son of John and Cheryl. He was a proud, loving father of Tatiana and Lakeland. He was an adored uncle of Christian, Isabella, Kennedy, Eliana, Michaela, Mateo, Brielle, and Nathaniel. He was also a dedicated brother-in-law to Angela and her husband, Steve. Kevin was a dedicated husband and fully devoted to his daughters. They were all a spark of brilliance that fulfilled his life. He was very much engaged in their lives of his daughters, as well as proud of their academic, athletic, and personal growth. He was always present to support their every stage of their journey and accomplishments. Kevin was a gifted athlete throughout his life, being in preschool at Howard and as well in Dearborn High. He specifically excelled in basketball as well as football at high school and as well as in Hillsdale College. Sports continued to be part of his life. He went on to become a chiropractor, and Kevin loved helping people through his chiropractic practice in Dearborn and teaching at Henry Ford College. Most recently, he worked to fulfill his dream of flying commercially, a dream that he had since earning his private pilot's license and acquired part ownership in a plane. 10 years ago, Kevin was appointed to the Dearborn City Parks and Recreation Commission, where he helped the commission fulfill its mission and expand its role in an important institute in the city that he loved so much and called home. Kevin's kindness, generosity, thoughtfulness, and welcoming nature will be greatly missed. He was loved and respected and admired by all that he was surrounded in his life. We offer to all our most heartfelt, sincere sympathy and condolences to the family of the deceased. May he rest in peace. Okay, and unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 48, resolution by Council President Pro Tem Herrick, supported unanimously, offering condolences to the family of Rick Daines and requesting immediate effect.
Councilwoman Herrick.
Thank you. Richard Rick Everett Daines was born on August 6, 1947, and passed away on June 22, 2024. He touched many people throughout his life and made an impact on the Dearborn community during his 76 years of life. Rick was a devoted son, husband, father, grandfather, uncle, and son-in-law. He is survived by his wife, Irma, with whom he shared 56 years of marriage that was full of treasured memories. He was the proud and loving father of Richard Jr. and his wife, Debbie, and his daughter, Jessica, and her husband, David Miller. Cherished grandfather of Daniel and David, and caring uncle of many nieces and nephews. Rick was preceded in death by his parents, Pearl Edward Daines and Corey Effie Heiss Farmer, and his mother-in-law, Nina Jocelyn. Rick was a dedicated employee at Ford Motor Company for 34 years. During his career, he exemplified dependability, work ethic, and friendship among his colleagues. Rick embraced life's joys by spending time with loved ones, traveling, golfing, fishing, and immersing himself in books. Most notably, Dearborn was more than a city to Rick. It was his home and beloved community. He actively contributed as an appointee to the Dearborn Historical Museum Guild and volunteered regularly at the museum. Many may have seen Rick at the museum and across the community in uniform, as he was a steadfast member of the organization Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War. Rick gave honor and respect to those who fought bravely through his extensive knowledge about burials of fallen soldiers. Just 6 weeks ago, attendees saw Rick participate in the Sons of the Union's Decoration Day ceremony on the lawn of Dearborn's Commandant's quarters. Rick will always be remembered for his kindness, dedication, dependability, humor, and his spirited personality. He leaves behind a legacy of compassion, humanity, and generosity. Above all, Rick will be remembered as a caring and loving son, husband, grandfather, uncle, son-in-law, and faithful friend. To all, we offer our most heartfelt sympathy and sincere condolences.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and the unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 49, resolution by council members El Sawafi and Paris concurring in the appointment of Amir Al-Jabari to the Parks and Recreation Commission with a term ending June 30th, 2027, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. And we have several appointments here. Again, council recognizes new appointees, and we'd like to thank everyone. These are volunteer jobs that are extremely important for the operations of the city, and we do appreciate them. This appointment is for Amir Al-Jabari to the Parks and Recreation Commission for a 3-year term that is ending June 30th, 2027. Again, we'd like to thank him for his service. Councilman Al-Swat.
Thank you, Council President. I'm happy to support the appointment of Mr. Al-Jabari. I've known him for many years now. He's a long life resident of Dearborn, and he's nonstop. I've worked with him on several nonprofits, cleanups, blood drives, delivery of gifts in Christmas. And so I'm so happy to see that he's volunteering to do this, and I really thank him for his time.
Thank you, Councilman. Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 50, resolution by council members Enos and Phillips concurring in the appointment of Fawad Frank to the Warren Business District Authority with a term ending June 30th, 2027, and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This appointment is for Fawad Frank DeBeja, that is junior, correct, Mayor?
Frank DeBay.
This is the
DeBay.
This is the father?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. To Warren Business Authority District for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. Any questions or comments? Okay, any objection, unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 51, resolution by council members Paris and Enos concurring in the appointment of Haider Kusan to the Warren Business District Authority with a term ending June 30th, 2027, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, again, this is an appointment for Mr. Haider Kusan to the Warren Business District Authority for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. Any questions or comments on this one? Councilman Hammoud?
I've known Mr. Kusan for a while. His family actually are the owners of Greenland, and I think that's been a fixture in East Dearborn for quite a while, and I think it's nice that you guys are appointing somebody who's like a little bit younger and has new, fresh ideas for the area, especially
This
as we
is
go
the
through-
son.
Yeah, so this is the son.
Got it.
Yeah, so this is the son. I mean, you're appointing him, Mayor. So yeah.
Yeah, well, still could be the son.
Is the son, as far as I know, this is the son. He told me that he was the one. So, no, I think he's very passionate about the city of Dearborn, and he's very excited about the opportunity to, help you guys out with the new Warren transformation. I think people are very excited about that. So.
Without question. Any questions or comments? Any objection, unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 52, resolution by council members Paris and Herrick concurring in the appointment of Jennifer Lorenz to the East Dearborn Downtown Development Authority with a term ending June 30th, 2028, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, this appointment for Jennifer Lorez to the East Dearborn Downtown Authority for a 4-year term ending June 30th, 2028. Again, I'd like to thank her for her service. Councilman Herrick?
Thank you, Council President. I always thrilled when we see a new business open up here in Dearborn. And in this case, Jennifer Lorenz opened up Little Mama's Vintage on Michigan Avenue, and there was a ribbon cutting last week with the Chamber of Commerce. Really eclectic, interesting, artistic and antique and clothing, all kinds of things just to peruse if you're in the East Dearborn downtown. But in particular, you know, the fact that she jumped right in, she just opened her business and she's already getting involved with the Downtown Development Authority. She really is looking out for more than just her own business, but like the others who serve on these commissions, she's looking out for the greater community and what she can do to enhance the vibrancy of the East Dearborn Business District and become a partner with the other businesses in that area. So I wish her well with her beautiful little shop and thank her for joining the East Dearborn Downtown Development Authority.
They also sell great watermelon ice cream.
Watermelon ice cream, that's not bad.
I'm surprised. It's vintage. It's phenomenal.
Wow. Well, we wish them the very best of luck, and we do appreciate, Councilman, you're right, for them, Councilwoman, I'm sorry, for bringing them, jumping in and going into this is excellent. So, again, any questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 53, resolution by council members Osawafi and Enos concurring in the appointment of Joshua Elling to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority with a term ending June 30th, 2027, and requesting immediate effect.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Again, this is an appointment for Joshua Elling to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. Any questions or comments? Any objection, unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 54, resolution by council members Enos and Paris concurring in the appointment of Joshua Elling to the Economic Development Corporation with a term ending June 30th, 2030, and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Again, we'd like to thank Mr. Joshua Elling for his service and appointment to the Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors for a 6-year term ending June 30th, 2030. And this is consistent with our requirements. They're built on the Brownfield and as well as the Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. Any questions or comments? Any objection or unanimous roll? Unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 55, resolution by council members Osawafi and Herrick concurring in the appointment of Kane Karnbach to the Dearborn Historical Commission with a term ending June 30th, 2027, and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And this is an appointment for Kane Karbach to the Dearborn Historical Advisory Commission for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. And we'd like to thank him for his service as well. Any questions or comments? Councilman Paris.
If I can, I think this is the last one that we have for this evening, but I just want to point out to people that are here and listening at home, a lot of boards and commissions within the city. The administration just recently, through the City of Dearborn government Facebook page and elsewhere, has published some information about the more than 24 boards and commissions and where we have some vacancies. I really encourage people to get on the city website and some of these social media sites and see about these boards and commissions where you have a chance of really contributing your time to any of these boards and commissions. And most of these boards and commissions meet just once a month. You know, so it's not overbearing, but it is something that you can commit yourself to make a better community. So I would really appreciate people taking a look at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? Any objection to a unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
We have a walk-on item number 56, resolution in need of offer and support, authorizing the mayor or his designee.
Offered by Councilman Abraham, supported by Councilwoman Herrick. All right, Mr. Clerk, do you want to continue, or?
I can continue
Yeah.
to read this. Authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute the required participation forms for the new national opioid settlements as provided by the Michigan Attorney General's office and requesting immediate effect.
All right, on July 9, 2024, the city of Dearborn received a communication from the Michigan's Attorney General's office concerning participation in 5 new proposed national opioid settlements that have been reached with Kroger and the new national opioid settlement. The Department of Law has reviewed the opioid settlements and the required participation forms and recommends that the council authorize the mayor or his designee to execute the participation forms as provided by the Michigan Attorney General's office to complete the registration process for the city so that we can be considered in participating in the subdivision of the funding, and immediate effect is being requested. Any questions or comments? Okay, any objection to unanimous roll? Okay, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Yes, I was given something late today from the Friends for Animals of Metro Detroit. I think somebody wants to speak on that tonight and propose a resolution.
Well, my understanding is this is from the administration. This is not, so this is the mayor brought forward. It's the contract authorizing, the council to authorize the mayor to enter into this agreement. Mayor, do you want to
Yeah, of course.
speak on any highlights on this?
Yeah, I
Because this was
can
a long
speak to it.
contentious issue regarding the costs and the fees of the animal shelter.
Obviously, there was a lively discussion at a study session and a follow-up agreement that was achieved between myself and the board of the Friends of Animals. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Didn't sound like you, Michael.
Okay.
I thought it was somebody from the Friends.
I thought somebody was here, yeah.
I just had a nightmare flashback. I was just,
all right.
On that note, essentially, it's a 4-year contract.
Right.
We achieved an agreement where we get a per animal price. We negotiated where the city covers 65% of the sterilization costs in addition to the true cost on all the other items for 4-day stay. And so that you have those costs before you, per dog, per cat, per other species. It's a 3% inflationary agreement per year over the 4 years. We removed the cap. We were comfortable with removing the cap on the number of animals we cover, given that the number of animals over the last 2 years was fairly flat.
Correct.
And we don't expect a change there. Otherwise, what's also in here is that there'll be a board that meets every other month, 3 members of the admin, 3 members of the Friends, and then 1 appointed council member.
Right.
Similar to how I do the city-school liaison meeting that occurs. And that'll kind of be a working group to talk about issues, strengthen the relationship, and hopefully keep ushering in a strong partnership between the two.
No, we do appreciate, Mayor. We know it was a lot of work, and I know there was a lot of demands in a short time and demands that were, with deadlines, so I'm glad that that was resolved. And then just for Janky, just for standard operation for us, the council members, what we'll do is we'll have a standard rotation from the council members. We'll start with myself and work our way down. And each person will go for the one meeting so that everybody has an opportunity to be there. But I'm glad we were able to reach this agreement. As the mayor's indicated, the next closest city is 4 or 5 times less than what we pay. We want to make sure that there's not animals left on the side, and we want to make sure that we do what was necessary for our residents. But there was concern regarding sterilization, which is not required, only for adoption, and that every single animal that came in had to be sterilized, even though some of them, there was 14 or 15% survival rate happen as well, which we were being charged for. So it's taxpayer dollars. We had to go through this. Some people weren't happy with it, but we have to do our job. When you get a contract that's 5 times your neighboring city and is increased at the rate that they have, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't go through it. But I'm glad that we're able to reach this agreement and authorize this contract. And this will go back retroactive, correct, Mayor, to the date of, retroactive?
To July 1.
To July 1st. Yeah, because we did leave it and they operated in good faith.
Correct.
Because the demands were put on us as a take it or leave it. We didn't take it.
Correct.
And then we left the mayor to work with them. We were glad that there was no interruption in service, which is what we knew would not happen. We would not allow that to happen. So this is effective again back to July 1st. And it is for how many years, Mayor?
4 years.
4 years, which was another sticky point because they were requiring only a 1-year contract.
Correct.
They didn't want no multi-year contract, which is not good for
Gets
municipalities.
us in a good position.
Exactly. So did we have an offer on this?
No, we don't have enough for support.
Councilman Abraham? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. I know. An offer by Councilman Abraham and supported by Councilwoman Herrick. We have a question, Councilman Paris.
Just out of curiosity, though, I'm not seeing this and I haven't had a chance to really read a lot of it, but do we have a cost, for a budgetary cost?
The rough estimate
Yes.
is going to be around $400,000 is the annual expense.
Okay.
Based on the
and then 4
numbers.
years.
It'll increase each year about 3%.
3%.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Which is why you have the ask for an additional $105,000 because in the budget was about $295,000.
Thank you.
Right. Which, originally, Mayor, just for the record, I mean, you weren't that far off in the original negotiation.
We paid $295, plus we covered about $70,000 in utilities, plus
Right.
about $7,000 in maintenance.
Right. But I mean, I think the disconnect is whether the board really had the information that was provided, because this is basically what you were offering them in the beginning, is that correct?
To
No?
some capacity.
Yeah.
I would say that striking the 65-35% deal actually, benefited.
It's benefited us, yes. Well, that's because what came out is the fact that the sterilization is not a required
Correct.
statutory requirement for the taxpayers of Dearborn. It's for the person adopting. So I do think that was a substantial victory for us, and it also helps keep the population in.
And I can also tell you that Livonia's new contract did quadruple.
Yep, well, there
On
you
a
go.
1 year.
And it's a one-year contract.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's good. All right, any objection to unanimous roll?
Yeah, I just
Mr.
got,
Clerk?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you don't have the,
No, I've got the backup, I'm good with that. I just wanted to make sure, I thought I maybe misheard. I thought the mayor said 4, this says 5, so I just want to make sure my records are correct. A 5-year contract.
Contract?
Yeah, did I make a mistake? Did I hear it wrong? I'm sorry.
It's 2028, it's 4-year.
4-year contract.
4-year
Okay.
in the contract. And if I could just add, so.
Yes, of course.
Just on the multi-member body, I had written it as the council appoints one, but it sounded like you wanted a council member to rotate on it.
I do. I think it's
So,
better, and I
I
think the
know-
mayor's in agreement with that. But
I was
it-
trying to beat the offer and support, but it's not written that way. So if you would like it that way.
Appoint yourselves.
Yeah, Councilman Abraham and Herrick, do you have an objection that it be a council member and that it rotates?
Not at all, no objection.
Councilman Abraham?
No, the amendment is okay.
Councilwoman Herrick? Okay.
agree with the amendment.
So the amendment will stand as that, so we'll make that alteration. Is that okay, Mr.?
Yeah, and the other request, if I could attach immediate effect to the contract.
And
that would-
immediate effect as well. Councilman Paris?
Having the council member and rotating, are you talking about on a yearly basis or on
No.
a monthly basis?
No, on
Or
the.
whenever they meet?
Their meeting, was it, Mayor, every other month?
Correct.
So it will be once meeting, the next member will go on.
Okay, thank you.
Fair? Jackie, you have that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah, we want to give everybody, yeah, absolutely, a chance to see what's going on, and, I mean, like, we seen, the board was here, half of them didn't know the things that were happening, so it might be functioning as a one-person board, and we need to make sure that we're involved in that scenario, so I think it's fair. All right, any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing none, unanimous roll shall be attached, and again, Mr. Clerk, with immediate effect. Next item.
Nothing further from the clerk's office, thank you.
All right. From the council, I do have a few things. I'll go through them as quickly as possible. I just want to recognize a few police retirements. Acknowledge Sergeant Mark Gorby, as well as Lieutenant Andrea Drink, who both recently retired from Dearborn after 25 years of service and careers. We want to thank them very much for their service, and we wish them the best in their retirement. So it's always a good time when we see those posts. We also have a fire department retiree, and I'd like to acknowledge that. He's one of our engineers, Robert Buchholitz. Is that pronounced? How do you say it? All right, well, Rob, well, it's good, Chief. We need to get you up here once in a while.
So happy you guys are utilizing.
Fire
my
Chief
direction.
Joseph Murray, that's a Robin
Yes.
Buckles. Robin Buckles.
Buckles, oh my God, I have Butch, yeah, I got the whole name wrong. I apologize. Yeah, look at that. But it's pronounced Robin Buckles.
Robin Buckles.
25 years, it said fire department engineers.
Yeah, she's an engineer. They drive the truck, pump the water on the scene of a fire.
Well, we want to wish her a very, very happy retirement, and I'm sure a long next chapter.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chief.
Just for the record, we also had Captain John Drennan retire the day before as well, so.
Yeah, we missed that one. We got to get on your social media stuff. I mean.
I'm waiting for it.
All right. Thank you so much for the retirements. We do appreciate it. We also had something that we've seen, and I thought was very worthy of, and I know the mayor's social media is very good at putting it out, but the city of Dearborn recently won a National Climate Award for Public Health Leadership. That's a big deal, guys. This was acknowledged as one of 13, is that correct? 13? Let's have our director come up. Since he's here. He's required now.
The award sits at my shelf, though.
No, this is a big deal. I mean, Dearborn was one of 6 cities with a population of over 100,000 to be recognized for this national award.
In the country, yeah.
In the country, yeah, nationwide. Director, if you'd like to shed some light, I thought this was tremendous.
Yeah, thank you. Ali Abazin, Director of Public Health. The mayor was recognized by the U.S. Conference of Mayors for his leadership in starting the Department of Public Health. As you know, we take a health and all policies approach with everything that we do, and it's good to see that we're getting more national recognition. So
It's excellent. We do appreciate it.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your work. Yep. Next, I also wanted to recognize Mr. Romer, our city attorney, for the tremendous work that he's done regarding negotiating 16 contracts, labor contracts through the city, and that's a big deal, folks, because when you're negotiating with unions, it seems like you got a standing ovation in the back.
Council President.
Yes,
Will
Mayor.
you know that Commander McHale didn't stand up or applaud because his contract hasn't finished yet?
Oh, geez.
Put that on the record.
Record is noted. Mr. Romer, I appreciate it. I always say, when you have two sides that are not happy, it usually means there's a good contract. But since we didn't get too many union calls, that means that we might have got a better half of the deal on that one. So I really appreciate it. It's a lot of work. I do remember, Mr. Romer, when we used to employ, was it Clark Hill?
No, it was
Dykema to assist and so many residents do not know that you're the attorney for the mayor as well as the council solely, but you also have the operations as chief negotiation for labor contracts, which by itself is a big feat. So we do appreciate it and want to make sure you recognize that.
And briefly, I just want to tell you, so I have a team, right? I work with the team, so Michael, Danielle, the mayor's office. So it's a whole group. It's not really just me, but I'll be happy to let them all know if they're not here. So
Yeah, no, we
thank
do
you. I
appreciate it.
that.
We do appreciate everybody for working, getting those contracts done, and we want our employees to get what they deserve, and we want to make sure that the citizens are getting their value, so we do appreciate it.
With the general employee contracts ratified,
Yes.
we officially now become a preferred employer based on a new compensation schedule that's been established.
That's
So
great.
That's the first in quite some time.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's outstanding, excellent. I wanted to recognize Rami, our council intern, which is not here today.
He didn't make it today.
He didn't make it today, but I can tell you guys, if this is the youth in our local area, we're in good shape. This young man solicited the council, solicited our office for internship, and wanted to work, and jumped in a 60, was it 90 days, Jackie?
60.
60 days of nonstop, from budget hearings to coyotes to DNR to a tremendous amount of work. This young man worked with many of our council people on issues that they had, and he did a great job. I think this program was great. We've had this in our budget. I wanted to limit it to a short time. This young man is going to most likely go on to law school. He is actually working for another month or so with Dearborn Heights in their legal department as he left here. Tremendous young man, done a tremendous job, and I wanted to thank Rami very much for his being really outstanding and outspoken and really taking the bull by the horn. So he did a tremendous job. So for my colleagues, if anybody has anybody for next summer intern that is considering it, it's a short term, but it's really hits the ground running. And as you guys seen during budget hearings, it was great. Lastly, Mayor, I wanted to talk, and I know our Director Phillips is here, regarding the homecoming. I know there's been promotions. I see DPW setting up fences already. The homecoming, again, at the Ford Field Park, August 2nd through the 4th. And I know that we had some tickets we had a flash sale, but where are we at now, if we could speak regarding the tickets, and how do we get them discounted? I know there was like a one-day, unless I'm wrong, promotion, and now we have a different, so.
Hello, Ali Phillips, Community Relations Director. So our flash sale, I believe, was last week.
Yes.
It was only one day. We were selling tickets for $20. I believe that we sold, I think, around 450 tickets. We've grossed around 10,000 so far, so we're actually much better than we were last year at this time, so we're very excited about that. Currently, tickets are $25 if you purchase them prior to homecoming. Once we hit that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they pop up to $35. So we recommend that folks
So
get
they're
their
still
tickets now.
discounted up to the
Yes.
date event at $25, and they can buy them online through, what is it, Innovation?
It's at DearbornHomecoming.com. We have the Wade shows link under Carnival in the header, so they can go there anytime, buy their tickets, and they'll get $10 off before homecoming starts.
Excellent. And then the show for this, can we speak about the
Oh, yeah, they're
Yeah.
public. Oh, yeah, they're public.
Okay, so what do we have again? Because I know that
So-
I'm working for some seats there.
Yeah, so Friday night we have the Verve Pipe, Saturday night we have the All-American Rejects, and Sunday night we have Kylie Morgan, thank you. I keep wanting to call her not that, but yeah, Kylie Morgan.
There you go.
Yeah, very
Well, I
excited.
know, you keep topping yourself, and the program keeps getting better and better. I really appreciate the work.
Thank you so
So
much.
hopefully we'll see everybody at Ford Field Park for our homecoming, August 2nd through the 4th. Thank you, Director. Lastly, I just want to mention, sadly, for two tragic deaths of, one of them, Dr. Gada Mustafa, a very, very tragic event, and I know Commander Hale is here, if you'd like to come up. This is regarding a very, very young physician with children at the ages from 9 months and very young that was involved in a car accident and unfortunately lost her life. So, Commander, if you just wanted to speak a little bit about that situation, and of course we wanted to just send our condolences to the family, but more importantly to make aware of issues that can happen in the speed in automobiles in our city.
Sure. It's such a profound tragedy that the city experienced last Friday with that accident. What I can say is that, that the police department is working diligently on this case. It's a complex investigation. There's a lot of evidence to go through, but we were working every single day on it, hand in hand with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, to make sure that we're being as thorough as possible to bring justice in this case, and to bring the most significant, appropriate charges that we believe are warranted. And we hope to have some resolution in the coming weeks on that.
Right. And then I know that's under investigation, but there's been social media reports that this happened very, very early in the morning, such as 8 a.m. I know that the doctor was exercising and going home, and this had speeds that were in excess of 100 miles an hour. Is that what we understand? Is that?
I could tell you preliminarily that we believe speeds that were well in excess of 100 miles an hour.
Right. So again, to the residents, as I continue to say, and as I've told my children, which one of my daughters was involved with a drunk driving accident 2 years ago where a car came from the other side. When I tell them, they say, hey, I'm driving good. It's not always how you're driving. The car comes from another. In my situation where my daughter came from across Ford Road Medium and flipped over and hit her front of her car. So we're very fortunate that she wasn't injured as well as hard. But again, I don't know how to express to the community that we're, as a government and administration, the amount of tickets, the police out there writing tickets. I mean, the speeding is got to end. There's no justification for it, and what I like is my son, my second son, had mentioned to me that when he took a course, I don't know if Commander, if this has any truth on your end, but he said that they proved that even if you're going 10 or 12, 15 miles over, that you won't even arrive less than 2 minutes earlier to your destination. It makes no sense, and I wanted to make sure we shed light to our residents, and again, our sincere condolences to the family. So, and we do appreciate the hard work the police are doing to bring this to a closure.
Thank you.
Commander, while you're there, also another tragic event of Officer Mohammed Saeed, who is an officer in our neighboring city of Melvindale, which has strong Dearborn. He has a strong Dearborn roots, and also with a lot of social media reports, lost his life with he was shot by a fugitive, which recently I believe was captured, and I know that there's going to be a memorial service. Mayor, do you have the dates on that?
Memorial
for this
service will
young man?
be Thursday, basically, in the afternoon until 8 p.m. And then on Friday morning, they will depart from the Ford Performing Arts Center. The memorial service will be held over to the mosque in the south end, and then from there they will perform the final prayer and head over to the cemetery. As a city,
adjacent to
correct,
yes.
yeah. As a city, we're obviously hosting the memorial service. The call came in from the family of Evandale. We accommodated. We'll be closing the center for the whole afternoon that Thursday, knowing that there'll be a proper ceremony for the officer that's passed, and we've also waived all expenses from the center as well.
We do appreciate that, Mayor, and I could say, and Commander, if you could just shed the light on the amount of resources, I mean, that was expended. I know that there was multi-cities involved. I mean, anytime an officer's life is lost, it's very tragic. And I mean, these people, we have Councilman Al-Swabi's military, my brother's active duty military, U.S. Navy. I mean, police officers like yourself, firemen. When someone loses their life like this, it's taken very seriously by the community. More importantly, as from the brethren of the police officers. I mean, I've seen multiple city jurisdictions. Can you speak a little bit on that?
I mean, I could not point out a city that did not have an officer present that day.
Yes.
From really all over the Metro Detroit area, from 3 counties away, we had officers showing up. Just what can I do? And I can tell you that it was great to see the team effort that took place to take that individual into custody. Very obviously, very dangerous individual,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
to be able to bring a small piece of closure to the family and to the Melvindale Police Department. So we're very honored to be able to assist them.
I'll comment on it just
Mayor?
slightly, and I posted this morning, but, really credit to our fire department, obviously responds and covers the city of Melvindale, which transported the officer. And then also to our police department, which stepped up. I actually, we had our drone up in the air almost immediately following the incident. That's right. Assisting them, given that we have some technologies that the neighboring city does not. And then obviously after they had lost one of their own officers, our officers stepped forward and covered all the calls for the city of Melvindale to relieve and provide so that their officers can go find comfort in whichever way possible, or at least have some time, personal time, as they grieve the loss of one of their own officers. Our officers stepped forward. Obviously, we handled the dispatch, so we handled all the calls for about 24 hours. And our officers stepped forward willingly. And now we have, really the honor of hosting the ceremony this week as well.
Absolutely, Mayor. I was not aware of that. I really appreciate that, and that's tremendous. I mean, that's what the community's about. That's, lines drawn, Melvindale, Dearborn Heights, we're all one community. So thank you, Mayor, for that, shedding that upon that. And Allah yarhamullah Muhammad Saeed, the young man, I wish him, his family, their condolences from the city of Dearborn, and we wish them the best. So, and I just wanted to thank all the organizations for doing what they did. I thought it was a tremendous effort from the state police, from everywhere. And I know it was publicized all over social media, and I think that's a good thing, that people are not going to get away with these things. And but again, you can't undo what happened. So Mayor, again, thank you for that information regarding the coverage over and allowing the officers, because a lot of those officers have been born and raised in Dearborn, know each other very well. So we understand that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Commander. Anything else from my council colleagues? Councilwoman Herrick?
Thank you, Council President. Earlier this evening, we approved Dearborn's Arts and Health Day on July 27th, joining with the National League of Cities and observing that day. And that same week, the POP mural that many people have seen on the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center, the new mural, will be dedicated. The students of the Pockets of Perception POP design team welcome the public to join the ceremony on July 31st. That's Wednesday, July 31st at 5 p.m. at the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center. And the name of the mural is Colors of Community, and that reflects obviously what the content of the mural, but it also reflects the broader mission of the Pockets of Perception design team, which is a project of the Dearborn Community Fund. And POP is designed to encourage multicultural understanding between young people throughout the community through a creative arts project. And we've seen a number of these over the last 15 years here in Dearborn. The POP team has done sculptures, a number of murals at this point, where the students collaborate with professional artists to complete the project. And so I hope that everyone is able to come out next week to enjoy the mural and meet some of the students who worked on the project and celebrate that event at 5 p.m. on July 31st. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Al-Swabi.
Thank you, Council President. If you watch the city council meetings, you see a fair share of complaints, and sometimes I could be a tough critic as well. And then, but Council President today recognized a few people, and I want to recognize some as well. First, I want to recognize the clerk. Over the past week, there was a family that needed some assistance, and the clerk went out of his way above and beyond to make sure they got the support that they needed. So thank you, Clerk Delaney, for your support. And I also wanted to thank the administration and the mayor. I received several complaints from residents, whether it's sidewalk issues or some tree stump or what other issues that I received, but every time there was no excuses, they got to it right away. I mean, unless you're staying at the Ritz-Carlton and you're calling the front desk, you can't get this level of service. So I'm very proud of the mayor and administration. It was amazing. Within 24 hours, it was done. Yeah, Monday.com, it's a new system that we're using, but it's been great. So I just want to thank the mayor and your staff. Thank you. I'm sorry?
Excellent. Thank you, Councilman.
You don't want
Councilman
to
Parrish.
thank you?
I'll take it all day.
No, that's excellent.
No, it's true. It's true. When it's true, I just want to say.
Yeah, when things are done right, that's outstanding. We do appreciate it. We're striving, all of us, for the same goals.
Absolutely.
Councilman
So,
Parrish.
Really good.
Thank you, Council President. I want to make this kind of brief, but I do want to make mention that before our meeting tonight, had the opportunity to just poke my head into the conference room adjoining here and so on. We had our election workers that had some training.
Yeah.
I poked my head in and said hello and thank you for volunteering their time. And I'm sure the city clerk will probably have a few comments to make about the election and so on coming up, but thank you for everybody that's volunteering their time to the city. Just one comment about Officer Mohammed Saeed from Melvindale. Did not know the officer, but what I will tell you too is think about these first responders, the police, fire, any agency that responded. I want to make sure that you also understand that you have our dispatch center. You can imagine how difficult it is dispatching people to a location of what is going on, not knowing what the end result is. And then unfortunately, a loss of life like what was experienced. You can only imagine for a moment what those dispatchers are feeling because they're not there and they don't know when they're calling for an officer repeatedly what's going on, and hoping for the best and thinking that maybe it might not be. So thank them too when you see them, not just the officers, and they need your support. You know, there's crisis intervention team, there's ways of getting help, and I encourage police and fire that may have been involved in this to keep that in mind. I mean, it's not what it was many years ago, that it's bravado and you don't want to go ahead and ask for help.
Yeah.
You need the help, you ask for it, and it behooves you because you're working with other people that are depending on you. And if your brain and your emotions are not there where they should be, these fellow officers and firefighters are depending on you too. So you need to make yourself well. Take care of yourself first. The only other thing I wanted to make mention, and I did have a brief conversation with Commander McHale just before the meeting. I'd like to just make mention on these construction sites within the city. We have construction going on everywhere. But what I'm telling you, and we've had some comments from people earlier in the meeting about the recklessness, the way people are driving, disregarding stop signs, you know, a fatal accident that we just had recently. Watch what you're doing in these construction sites. I'm telling you, I just experienced today some comments that were brought to my attention about Madison Street. There's a long construction project that's going on right now. Some of the workers have complained and saying they're almost getting hit. People are driving recklessly, driving through stop signs, through barricades, stirring up gravel from the construction sites at them, and they're scared. And they reached out to some people, and I became aware of it. So I just want, if at all possible, that we have our traffic unit or the police department to be aware. I mean, it's all over the place that we have these construction areas, and we've got the reckless driving, I understand that. But, you know, it's a multi-year felony if you go ahead in a construction area to go ahead and injure a construction worker. So just be careful and slow down. There's also about contractors that are on their way, as an example of this company, from Macomb County. and they're coming down the Southfield Freeway and have to get off and use the service drive. They're heavier vehicles, some of them, but they're on their way to some of these construction sites. So just have a little bit of leniency because Southfield is closed off in a lot of different directions, the ramps and so on. So just be very cognizant about what's going on and about your awareness. So thank you for that, and that's all I have for right now.
Thank you, Councilman. Anything from the administration? Mayor? Yeah, no problem.
I think you spoke to most of the matters. The only thing I really wanted to provide, and I imagine we'll bring this tribute at a later time, is for Dr. Ghada Mustafa.
Yes.
She is respected in so many ways, and a friend of my wife, went to school together, and I had the unfortunate, responsibility breaking that news to my wife, breaking the news to one of our directors, Ali Abazi, who went to school with her as well. And the families, there's nothing you can say, but she was a dedicated mother, dedicated physician, dedicated family member, and certainly a tremendous loss for the entirety of the community. And so there is a tribute out there. And so I think to Public Works and to others, for as long as we can leave that tribute out there at that site, please accommodate. And whatever we can do for the family, we're there. Our condolences are not enough. Words are not enough for a loss of an individual who's respected to the degree that Dr. Ghada Mustafa was. And so to her entire family, we wish God grants you patience in the most difficult of times, because it's definitely not easy.
Thank you, Mayor. Absolutely. Anything from Clerk, Mr. Clerk?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, as was alluded to earlier, that we do have an election coming up. And early voting begins this Saturday at the Performing Arts Center. We'll be in Studio A for 9 days, beginning this Saturday, and it'll be 9 to 5 every day for anybody that wants to vote early. We've sent out over 7,300 ballots for people who prefer to vote by mail, and out of the 7,300, we received about 40% of them back, about 3,000.
Already?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. And so I don't know what that'll mean on Election Day itself on Tuesday, August 6th, but we're still expecting anywhere from 11 to 12,000 people to vote on that day. So get ready for it. It's upon us beginning this Saturday, and we'll be ready.
All the machines working?
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. At this point, we are now at our second public comment. If there's anyone here to address the council regarding city business, please step forward, state your name and address for a record, or you can use the comment cards. Okay. All right, hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Herrick. We are adjourned. Thank you.